Our hero stands before the final boss, totally outmatched and on his last legs. He's coughing up blood, the fight clearly lost and his body completely giving out. Even on the brink of death, he just tells the monster to finish him already. What a mood. And the villain, a multi-armed goddess of destruction, looms over the ruined city. Her golden mask hides any expression, but you can just feel the smugness from here. She descends in a blur of motion, ready to deliver that final world-ending strike. A massive foot comes down to crush him as he just stares up, accepting his fate. This resulting impact just obliterates a huge chunk of the city in a single flash. And that is it, the S-rank hero dies, humanity loses all hope, the end. Except this whole epic tragedy was just a story someone's reading on their phone. Our actual main character, lying in bed, is just annoyed the ending felt super rushed. He checks the stats and realizes he is literally the only person who ever read this thing. Disgusted with the terrible writing, he just chucks his phone aside and gets up. But his phone suddenly lights up with a message about worlds merging. Uh-oh. This next morning, everything seems perfectly normal in the city, sun shining and all. Except now our boy is walking around dressed exactly like the doomed hero from the novel. He is trying to rationalize it, thinking he has just stumbled into some kind of protest. Then he glances up and something feels distinctly wrong about the skyline. An entire skyscraper is just missing, replaced by a weird digital outline in the sky. He pushes through the crowd, completely bewildered, while everyone else acts like nothing happened. This entire city block is just a perfectly clean, empty white space like it was deleted. Everyone around Sauda is screaming about crooked real estate agents, a totally normal explanation, sure. Leaving the angry mob behind, Sauda knows damn well that technology cannot just delete a building overnight. Trying to get back to normal, he arrives at school and heads straight for his classroom. But the second he opens the door, some kind of shadowy monster lunges right at him. Except it is not a monster, just his ridiculously dramatic blonde friend who tackles him with a hug. This guy immediately starts whispering about the apocalypse, and Sauda is just so over it already. Sauda just shoves his face, telling him he's been playing way too many video games. To prove his point, the friend pulls up social media posts about buildings vanishing all over the country, insisting this cannot be a coincidence while Sauda tries his best to call it one. Then he gets this creepy grin, asking if this does not feel just like an apocalypse from a novel. That phrase, world's end, suddenly clicks for Sauda and the dread starts setting in. He whips out his phone to check that terrible novel, only to find the entire thing has been deleted. And it hits him the novel's preface began with the exact same event of buildings disappearing. This hero in the book also had a friend show up talking about the apocalypse. The coincidences are piling up. His horrifying thought finally lands. Can a piece of fiction actually become reality? Totally panicking, he makes up a lame excuse about a stomach ache and just bolts from the room. He literally uses his friend's head as a step stool on his way out. What a pal. Sprinting through the school, he remembers a key detail. That building was a portal to a monster world. It all connects. Just like in the novel, the first teleportation circle has appeared in his town. Sauda absolutely bolts through the city, racing against a clock only he knows is ticking. Arriving at the empty lot, he confirms this is the exact location of the first teleportation circle. Some old guy tries to console him about a real estate scam, totally missing the apocalyptic vibe. His mind races, realizing this is the Abyss portal, though the book never explained how it appeared. This story described 999 of these circles opening simultaneously all over the planet. And according to the plot, a full-blown monster invasion is scheduled for midnight tonight, unleashing all sorts of cosmic horrors and tentacled nightmares upon an unsuspecting world. This novel also explained that these monsters come in different levels of danger. Humanity's current weapons can handle the small fry, but anything stronger is basically invincible. But there are two ways to fight back, the first being to kill monsters for special rewards. And these rewards grant unique skills and weapons, the only things that can actually hurt them. First up is a level 1 dog monster, big fangs but apparently pretty slow. He remembers a crucial detail: the first person to kill it gets a special physique-boosting skill. With that power-up, he could solo level 2 beasts while everyone else is still fumbling around. Sauda does not know why the novel became real, but he is not about to waste this opportunity. Pumping his fist, he declares he will get stronger, earning some very concerned looks from passers-by. His first stop on the road to becoming a hero is a local hardware store. This kid's master plan involves making a spear out of pipes and knives, peak innovation. He then considers wrapping himself in metal sheets for armor as a pink-haired girl walks past. That same girl recognizes Sauda, wondering why he is skipping class 2. Uh-oh, a classmate. This pink-haired girl gets a call from some dude who looks like her dad, screaming at her to get home. She just casually hangs up and keeps walking, completely unbothered, right past a preoccupied Sauda. Meanwhile, Sauda's back home, suiting up in his DIY armor and assembling his glorious pipe and knife spear. He tries to give himself a pep talk, admitting he is nervous but sure it'll be fine, classic pre-disaster optimism. By 11:40 p.m., he is standing alone on the empty lot, fully kitted out for the apocalypse party. With 20 minutes left on the clock, he boldly declares that the first monster kill is all his. His phone shows the final seconds ticking away, the tension building with every passing moment. Sauda gets into a fighting stance, counting down the final 5 seconds to midnight himself. He gets a sudden flash of the novel's hero, surrounded by those writhing tentacle monsters. And right on cue, the ground shatters as a massive, glowing red portal tears open beneath him. This thing shoots a pillar of pure chaotic energy straight into the night sky. Then dozens more light up the horizon, confirming the 999 portals are opening all at once. From the portal emerges the first monster, a small demonic dog materializing at his feet. It is immediately followed by its much bigger and angrier-looking parent, the abyssal monster. He remembers the novel's crucial intel. Its weak point is the waist, a perfect spot for a stab. Trying to keep from panicking, Sauda just tells himself to calm down and stick to the plan. This beast snarls, but our boy knows he has to take it down in a single decisive blow. Wasting absolutely no time, the monster lunges straight for him with terrifying speed. His eyes go wide as it closes the distance in a flash, way faster than he anticipated. At the very last second, he throws himself to the side, barely dodging the creature's attack. Fueled by pure adrenaline, Sauda lets out a battle cry and swings his pipe spear down hard. He lands a direct hit, driving the makeshift weapon straight into the demonic dog's back. Standing over the beast, he actually thinks he has done it, his first monster kill in the bag. But as the creature hangs limply on his spear, a flicker of doubt crosses his mind. He remembers the novel's rules: no loot drop and no first kill reward means it is not actually dead. A smug little grin spreads across his face as he figures out the monster's little game. Casually sitting down, he taunts the creature for playing dead, telling it the act is up. Nice try, Fido. This dog's eyes snap open in pure unadulterated rage, its ruse completely shattered. As it finally dies for real, the monster dissolves into a shower of digital particles, howling its last. A system window pops up, congratulating human number 1 and granting him the soul of the lone wolf skill. A bright light flashes in his eyes as the reward is officially transmitted to him. Sauda is absolutely ecstatic, pumping his fists and celebrating his hard-earned victory. This system then asks if he wants to use his new skill, and you better believe the answer is yes. Suddenly, a shadowy aura erupts from his body, catching him completely by surprise. This energy forms into a massive spectral wolf howling behind him. Talk about a dramatic entrance. He gets engulfed in a vortex of red and black power as the skill integrates with his body. This chaotic energy swirls around him in a blinding flash of light and shadow, and when it finally settles, Sauda is left standing there, radiating a whole new level of intensity. A final message confirms the acquisition is complete. Soul of the Lone Wolf is now his, and the stats are just insane, a 10 times boost to strength and endurance plus double the reflexes. Sauda is absolutely buzzing with his new first kill reward, ready to test out the upgrades. For a quick test, he gives the ground a little stomp and immediately cracks the pavement. He is thrilled that it did not even hurt his foot. Time to see what he can really do. Winding up with a grin, he decides to put his full 10 times strength into one punch, and the resulting impact completely obliterates the ground in a massive shockwave. Standing in his brand new crater, he is just in awe of how ridiculously strong he is now. He also got an abyssal stone from the kill and wonders what kind of power it holds. So naturally, he just pops it in his mouth like a breath mint, because why not? His eye starts glowing as he realizes he has unlocked some kind of space system ability, which turns out to be a level 1 inventory skill for storing non-living objects. Sauda is hilariously underwhelmed, calling it a lame item box before checking out his new weapon. This one's way better. The Sword of the Hunting God gives another body boost and a bleeding effect. A continuous bleed on top of a strength buff is a pretty sweet deal for a starter weapon. His confidence just skyrockets, realizing he is the only person on Earth who knows the plot. With this head start, he is already looking forward to the next stage and its rewards. This next day, it is back to the thrilling life of a high school student, apparently. He walks into class to find his dramatic blonde friend waiting for him, phone in hand, who immediately launches himself forward for another one of his signature flying tackles. But Sauda just casually sidesteps, letting his buddy eat the floor, zero hesitation. Getting up, the friend senses something's changed, while Sauda just gives him a smug little smirk. This blonde friend is back to his usual theatrics, ranting about monsters appearing all over the world. He explains that any posts about them get deleted, but he managed to save a video before it got scrubbed, which shows some buff special forces guy giving a thumbs up while holding a dead monster, totally normal. Getting all hyped up, he asks what happened after the kill, while Sauda looks completely unimpressed. Turns out the soldier got a lightning superpower as a reward, and the friend insists this is all real. His big pitch is for them to go hunt monsters together to get their own powers, a solid post-graduation plan, and to his friend's absolute shock, Sauda just calmly agrees to the whole apocalypse hunting idea. But their little recruitment drive is cut short by a teacher with a very intimidating glasses glint. She tells the entire class to ignore the false rumors online and just focus on their upcoming exams. Sauda just smirks, knowing that in about 3 days, rumors are going to be the least of their worries. His friend gives him a sharp look, clearly sensing that Sauda's newfound confidence is a little unsettling. Just then, the school bell rings, mercifully ending the lecture on ignoring reality. As the teacher dismisses them, Sauda lets out a sigh, already so over high school drama. His friend gets all serious, asking Sauda to follow him for a private talk, very mysterious. A little confused, Sauda just scratches his head and decides to see what this is all about. Their super secret meeting spot turns out to be the school's running track of all places. Standing on the track, the friend waits expectantly as Sauda tries to figure out how to start this conversation. Then he just leaps into the air, screaming that he is breaking up with Sauda for being so secretive, peak drama. He even manages to squeeze out some tears, asking if their friendship was all a lie. This guy needs an Oscar. Completely over it, Sauda finally caves, telling his friend Takedo he will explain everything if he promises to keep quiet. Takedo gets all intense, demanding to know if Sauda even trusts him anymore. Sauda just smirks, telling his friend to shut up and watch the show, and with just his fingers, he casually chips a piece right off the concrete bleachers. His friend's brain completely short-circuits, freaking out that Sauda just broke concrete with his bare hands. Our boy calmly explains he got this power-up after killing a monster the day before. This waterworks stop instantly as Takedo grabs his hand, looking at him like he is a goddamn celebrity. Their little bromance moment is spotted by the pink-haired girl from the hardware store, who looks very confused. She is just standing there wondering if they are actually flirting, looking deeply concerned for them both. Getting back to business, Sauda promises to help Takedo get his own skill when the monsters reappear in 3 days. Takedo gets serious for a second, just checking if Sauda is actually cool with sharing the glory. This only condition, Sauda says with a grin, is that this whole thing stays a secret between them. With their secret pact made, the two of them head out from school. Sauda's already plotting his next move, remembering the next portal opens at a construction site 10 km from here. He recalls the details from the book. This time 2 monsters will spawn, one being a cat-like beast with razor-sharp claws. But he is not worried since its defenses are apparently on par with a baby monkey from Earth. Ouch. Its partner, however, is a whole different story, a gorilla-type monster that is a tank in both offense and defense. Even with that, Sauda's confident his new stats blow both of them out of the water, planning to set Takedo up for an easy kill. His strategic planning gets interrupted when an older woman spots him and calls out his name. Switching from Apocalypse planner to good neighbor, Sauda turns and greets the woman as Auntie. She kindly invites him over for dinner but then asks if his uncle is over at his house again. Sauda's face goes cold, confirming her fears about his deadbeat uncle. This kind neighbor spills the tea. His uncle is trying to steal the house and wants him to flee. Putting a hand on her shoulder, Sauda tells her not to worry, he can handle it now. With a dark aura flaring, Sauda heads off, leaving her to marvel at his resilience. And so he arrives at his destination, the family home he is about to defend. Inside, it is a total pigsty with 2 freeloaders drinking the place dry. One of the freeloaders, a red-haired guy, asks his dad if Sauda has finally bylaid. This uncle, absolutely hammered, slurs that if Sauda's gone, the house is theirs. This guy then waves around a crumpled document claiming he inherited the house fair and square. Their celebration gets cut short by the door slamming open, announcing Sauda's arrival. With pure rage in his eyes, Sauda calls them out for trashing his home like they own it. This cousin gets to his feet, telling Sauda not to get cocky, he is just a kid. Sauda instantly grabs the punk by his shirt, and the guy immediately starts calling for daddy. Stepping in, the uncle tries to play the nice guy, reminding Sauda that his mom liked him. He gets uncomfortably close, suggesting this is just practice for living alone in college, and to top it off, he offers a measly 1,000 yen as pocket money to get out. This cousin, feeling brave again, starts screaming at Sauda to pack up and get out of their house. Our boy just calmly drops the truth bomb. He knows they forged the will. This uncle completely loses it, screaming for proof and threatening to crush him in court. Unfazed, Sauda calls them out for being useless when his parents were actually alive. Sauda lays into them, reminding them how his family worked multiple jobs while they just stole money. This uncle just scoffs, daring him to go to court because the will says the house is his. This deadbeat then gets even nastier, claiming his parents' deaths were just karma for being greedy. Not to be outdone, the cousin chimes in with some truly vile insults about Sauda's mom. And that is the last straw as Sauda's eyes flare with rage and he completely snaps. Of course, the cousin just loves it, taunting him to come on and do something about it. What a punk. His uncle plays the victim card, asking if he is really going to hit someone older than him. With a bloody smirk, he dares Sauda to try it, promising to beat him down. Sauda immediately takes him up on that offer, landing a clean punch right to the jaw, sending the deadbeat uncle flying across the room like a complete ragdoll. Now it is the cousin's turn to get brave, grabbing a bottle and charging in like a maniac. But Sauda just casually blocks the swing and slams an elbow right into his head. This cousin gets sent tumbling too, dropping his makeshift weapon in the process. On the ground, he immediately starts whining that he will report Sauda for starting the fight. Sauda could not care less, telling them to do whatever they want as he heads to his room. This cousin tries to rally his dad for a 2v1, but they are both just pathetic. Inside his room, Sauda packs a bag, knowing he needs to lay low until the world changes. He has got 3 days until the next wave, and he vows to get revenge for his parents. With his bag packed, he walks right past the 2 losers in the trashed living room, and tells them they can have the house for 3 days, a temporary victory they will regret. Back at the house, the cousin is fuming while his dad nurses a very well-deserved sore jaw. This uncle is just in shock, touching his face and wondering if Sauda actually left them the house. His son, however, is screaming for backup, telling his dad to call in some guy named Chief Kadu for revenge. Meanwhile, Sauda has found a much classier place to stay for a few nights, a seedy hotel. He walks up to the counter and asks for a room, trying his best to look like a normal adult. This receptionist immediately tries to sell him on their massage service because of course she does. Our boy gets completely flustered, internally justifying the sketchy choice because it is near the next portal. She keeps pushing, even touching his hand while promising her girls are cute and nice. After he politely shuts her down again, she finally hands over the key to room 208, and it does not take long for him to experience the hotel's unique soundscape. This couple next door is being incredibly loud, leaving absolutely nothing to the imagination. Lying in bed, Sauda is just horrified as the noises keep leaking right through the wall. He desperately tries to block it out, telling himself he only has to endure this for 2 more days. This source of all the racket is coming from room 209, right next to his. But inside 209, a pink-haired girl is also covering her ears, just as annoyed by the noise. Her white-haired companion calmly tells her to be patient since this hotel is close to their objective. This pink-haired girl is absolutely fuming, complaining about how annoying the whole situation is. She then turns to her friend Mio and asks for her take on things. Mio's analysis is brutally clinical. The woman's faking it and the guy has about 10 seconds left. Her friend just explodes, clarifying she meant the abandoned construction site, not a live performance review. This white-haired girl Mio tells her friend to just spit it out already while Sakura looks completely done. Getting serious, Mio explains the world has changed and their only choice is to fight monsters to survive. She then pledges her full support, telling Sakura she needs to get strong for what is coming. With a determined look, Sakura is totally on board, ready to face the new world. Mio then gives a smug thumbs up, confirming her 10-second prediction was dead on to Sakura's absolute horror. Sakura just yells at her to stop being a weirdo, completely embarrassed by the whole thing. 2 days later, it is 11:30 p.m. at the abandoned construction site Sauda was planning for. And under the full moon, 2 figures are already waiting near the building. It is Sauda and Takedo. Feeling the strange energy in the air, Takedo gets a little antsy and asks Sauda about it. But Sauda just smirks, telling him stage 2 monsters are basically a warm-up and to just stay back. His friend is still sweating bullets, asking if he is really sure he can take them on alone. So Takedo jokes that if things go south, he is using Sauda as a decoy to run away, peak friendship goals. This earns him a deadpan look from Sauda, who has to ask if they are even friends anymore. Checking his phone, Sauda sees they have 30 seconds left, while Takedo worries about other hunters showing up. Our boy is not worried, recalling from the book that most people are still clueless about what is happening. Suddenly, Sauda's eyes flare up as he tells Takedo to look, sensing the portal is about to open. He yanks his friend behind cover just as a massive helicopter swoops in over the site. And on the roof stand Mio and Sakura, all geared up for a fight, with Takedo recognizing the pink-haired girl. Sauda's brain short-circuits, realizing these two were never mentioned in the book he read. Then it clicks as Sauda realizes why the hotel was so close to the portal. It was not a coincidence. Sauda's mind races, realizing the book's unclaimed reward meant everyone else who tried this died. Meanwhile, Mio puts a hand on Sakura's shoulder, telling her they will face this together. From their hiding spot, Takedo recognizes Sakura's family as super influential, guessing Mio is special police. He immediately starts panicking that these new arrivals are here to steal their monster kills. Our boy just scoffs, declaring he will not let anyone, girls or not, take what is his. Down on the ground floor, Sakura nervously eyes the spot where the monsters are supposed to spawn. Mio confirms it, saying a magic circle will appear at midnight to summon them. She warns that these creatures are nothing like the animals they are used to. Then Mio reveals her master plan, a big all-bomb to soften the monsters up. She hands Sakura a pistol, telling her to land the final shot to get her powers. With a firm grip on the gun, Sakura looks ready to pull the trigger. Up in the rafters, Takedo is officially losing his mind over how intense this has gotten. Sauda just tells him to pull it together, reminding him this is what he wanted. Stealing his nerves, Takedo agrees he is all in for the power-up. Watching them, Sauda deduces they are using a bomb because they do not have skills yet. He knows their plan is doomed, they cannot kill the tanky one, which will just go berserk. But with a grin, he decides it does not matter since he is just going to beat them anyway. As the clock strikes 11:59, Mio hurls the bomb and the final countdown begins. At 0, both girls stare down, their game faces on and ready for action. And right on schedule, a massive red magic circle explodes into existence on the floor. This magic circle erupts in a blinding red light, signaling the monster's arrival. A massive ape-like monster roars, surprised to see 2 targets instead of 1. Sauda, watching from the shadows, calls the girls idiots for their obvious plan. Mio readies a throwing knife, shouting now, as she prepares to strike. This bomb explodes, engulfing the area in a fiery blast. Sakura readies her pistol, determined to finish the job as Mio urges her on. This ape monster lets out a guttural roar, seemingly unfazed by the explosion. Mio asks if the monster is uninjured, but Sakura confirms one of them is down. A shadowy ninja-like creature emerges from the rubble, looking menacing. This ape monster charges forward, scattering debris as it attacks the girls. This girls open fire, their bullets seemingly having little effect on the massive beast. Mio, with glowing red eyes, aims her pistol with fierce determination. A ninja leaps from above, narrowly dodging a massive swipe from the ape. This ape monster unleashes a furious, chain-bound punch, its eyes burning red. Sakura is thrown into the air, colliding with the charging ape. A close-up shows the ape's massive, chain-covered hand gripping something unseen. This girls and the ninja are caught in a chaotic melee, dodging and attacking. Mio, caught in the fray, yells for Sakura to run away. Sakura, on her knees, calls out for Mio, her expression filled with dread. This ape monster lets out a final, enraged roar as it lunges forward. Mio lets out a desperate scream, watching her whole plan go up in smoke. Sakura is right there with her, crying in absolute terror as the situation spirals. A single gunshot rings out in a last-ditch effort to stop the monster, but it is useless as Mio gets knocked to the ground completely helpless. This ape monster just looms over them, looking smug after shrugging off their attacks. Then out of nowhere, Sauda drops from the rafters, landing right between the girls and the beast. Sakura looks up in total shock, completely stunned to see him there. While Mio rushes to her friend's side, Sauda stands guard ready for a fight. Mio tells him to run, insisting they cannot possibly defeat it, a truly helpful observation at this point. In her shock, Sakura finally recognizes him, asking why on earth Sauda is here. Our boy does not even bother looking back, just telling them to get away from the fight. This ape monster takes that as its cue, leaping down to crush the newcomer. It throws a massive punch, but Sauda somehow manages to block the attack head-on. With his bare hands, he catches the chain-wrapped fist, stopping it cold, and with a furious roar, he begins to overpower the giant beast. In an insane display of power, he spins the monster around and just hurls it across the room. Sauda pants, realizing that even with 10 times his strength, he is only on par with the gorilla. But he has got an ace up his sleeve, summoning a glowing blue blade to end this now. This ape monster gets back up, looking even more enraged than before. Gripping his new dagger, Sauda prepares to unleash a final decisive strike. Sauda drives his new blade straight through the ape monster's skull, which earns him a final, agonizing roar from the beast. As he lands, the smaller ninja monster also gets completely obliterated, and the system confirms he is the first human to ever kill a Stage 2 monster. This giant ape finally begins to dissolve into nothing but dark energy, leaving behind its loot, a slingshot and some kind of magic orb apparently. Mio and Sakura can only stare, their entire plan and worldview just shattered. Our boy, of course, is just soaking in their disbelief with a smug grin. He then looks up, yelling at his buddy to get down from the rafters already. But Takedo is completely frozen, panicking about how he is supposed to get down. Calling him useless, Sauda gets an angry chibai retort from his terrified friend. With a sigh, he kicks off a wall to launch himself into the air, grabbing his screaming friend and literally dragging him back down to the ground. After landing, he points to a third, down monster, telling Takedo to go get his kill. Takedo looks hesitant as Sauda just stands over him, waiting impatiently. Just then, Mio walks over, surprised that they are still hanging around. She thanks Sauda for saving Sakura, trying to be polite and grateful, but he immediately shuts her down, declaring he is not sharing the monster kill. Realizing her mistake, Mio quickly offers him an amazing deal if he will just cooperate. Even Takedo thinks he should listen, nervously telling Sauda to hear them out. Sauda basically tells Takedo he has done all the work, so go get your participation trophy. Taking the dagger, Takedo agrees, ready to finally get his hands dirty. He immediately drives the blade into the last monster, securing his kill, and the system confirms it, rewarding him with a new gun and a magic orb. His first reaction is, of course, to panic and ask if the corpse is gonna get back up. Sauda just tells him to wrap it up, while Mio and Sakura watch the whole awkward exchange. As Mio helps Sakura leave, she promises Sauda this is not the last time they will meet. She admits his intel is way better and asks for his help in their next fight. In exchange, the offer is literally anything he could possibly want, a pretty sweet deal. Mio gets dead serious, declaring her family has a duty to protect the entire city. Our boy just tells her he will think about it, basically telling them to get lost for now. Mio agrees, telling him to call Sakura when he is ready, and the two finally take their leave. Once they are gone, Sauda lets out a huge sigh of relief, finally alone with his friend. He then turns to Takedo, holding out a glowing orb, and just says, "Now eat this stone." To show him how it is done, Sauda pops his own magic snack into his mouth. A massive surge of dark energy immediately erupts from his body as he powers up, and the system reveals his new skill, Soul of the Lone Wolf, a massive physical buff. After absorbing it, he looks a little stunned by the sheer rush of power. Then he flexes, casually dismissing the 10% reflex boost as just so-so, total show-off. Takedo, looking a little salty, immediately asks him what kind of broken skill he got. Takedo reveals his new skill is Eagle Eye, immediately complaining it is useless for combat. Sauda just gives him a friendly smack, insisting that a Super Scout skill is a great pull. Then he hands over the ape's slingshot, telling Takedo it is a perfect fit for him. A system window reveals it is a fire elemental weapon that slows targets down pretty solid. Sauda agrees with a smirk, noting that the fire attribute is a nice bonus. Turning the tables, he asks Takedo what kind of stats his new gun has. Takedo proudly shows off his pistol, which has a precision skill that guarantees hits and buffs every 5th shot. Absolutely overjoyed, he gives Sauda a huge thumbs up for making it all happen. This two walk off like kings, convinced the world is now theirs for the taking. Meanwhile, a car speeds down a highway somewhere else in the city. Inside, Mio is apologizing to Sakura for her brilliant plan completely falling apart. She then declares she is running a full background check on their classmate Sauda starting tomorrow. With a determined look, she repeats his name. This guy is officially on her radar. Back with our boys, they have apparently decided to check into a hotel for the night. They are just chilling in their room, finally getting a moment to decompress after all the chaos. Takedo questions staying in a hotel, but Sauda just tells him to get used to it. This conversation turns to money, with Takedo admitting he has only got about 10,000 yen on him. Sauda just looks up, cryptically stating that currency is about to become worthless anyway. This gives Takedo a truly horrifying idea, a goblin-like grin spreading across his face. His friend thinks he wants to call for room service, but Sauda shuts that down immediately. Takedo's mind immediately goes to the gutter, thinking about a different kind of service. But a knock at the door just announces their actual food delivery, crushing his dreams. Sauda tells him to eat up because when they wake up, the entire world is going to change. As he grabs the food, a mysterious woman in killer heels walks down the same hallway. This red-haired stranger glances back, definitely noticing him standing there, and for a second they just stand there in a super awkward silent standoff. Our boy just laughs it off nervously, trying his best to play it cool. He quickly ducks back into the room, relieved to have dodged that bullet. While they eat, Sauda drops the first bombshell. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., the sun is going to vanish. In its place, a creepy green emerald sun will appear, bathing the world in a new light. Then a voice will announce to all of humanity that Earth is now under the control of the deep abyss. He explains that every nation will finally start taking things seriously, holding emergency conferences. And after a few more transfers, people with insane powers will start showing up everywhere. This leads to the creation of special military units to try and fight back. Scientists will even team up to invent new weapons specifically for killing these monsters. But Sauda grimly reveals that none of it worked, humanity was still losing the war. Takedo, hearing all this, asks the only question that matters: how strong is he right now? Sauda casually estimates there are about 200 users, and Takedo is easily in the top 30. This news is delivered with the most casual, food-in-mouth expression imaginable, and Takedo absolutely loses his mind, realizing he is one of the strongest people on Earth. Takedo notices Sauda's dead serious expression while they are eating and asks him what is wrong. Without warning, Sauda just sprints away from the table, shouting that he will be right back. Left alone with the food, Takedo puts two and two together. Sauda has to be a reincarnator. This immediately sends him into a full-blown crying fit, wondering why it could not have been him. Meanwhile, Sauda is at a different kind of front desk, asking about a stylish and beautiful woman. This receptionist, a woman smoking at her desk, mentions a freelancer who comes and goes as she pleases. She even adds that it is weird she works there since she could easily make more money elsewhere. That is all Sauda needs to hear, a huge grin spreading across his face. He has found her. This receptionist looks intrigued, surprised that this kid might actually know her mysterious guest. He confidently asks for her room number, ready to get straight to business. But the clerk just shrugs, politely refusing to give out private customer information. So Sauda pulls out a wad of cash and slaps it on the counter, a classic problem solver. Her professional ethics last all of 2 seconds before she is happily telling him it is room 502. As he walks off, she yells at him to keep it a secret while also offering future help, a very confusing HR policy. Inside the elevator, Sauda presses the button for the 5th floor, on his way to meet this woman. His thoughts turn to the world's most powerful users, a group known as the Stars. These 12 are so strong they are named after zodiac signs, each able to defend an entire city alone. And the woman he is about to meet is one of the top 5, known as the Destroyer of Scorpio. He knows her entire history, right down to a specific rose tattoo on her back. She's also known for being especially brutal to men, and our boy is walking right into her den. Stepping out of the elevator, Sauda is totally convinced he has found Scorpio based on the clues. He arrives at her door, but now he is having a classic case of second thoughts about his pitch. This big problem is her legendary hatred of men. This whole plan could go south real fast, but before he can even knock, the door handle clicks and the door swings open. And it is the red-haired woman from the hallway, looking just as surprised to see him there. She immediately recognizes him from their awkward standoff, giving him a very curious once-over. Our boy gets completely flustered, stammering out an apology for just showing up unannounced. She completely ignores that, getting right in his face and asking if he followed her here. Totally off his game, he tries to explain himself but is clearly losing control of the situation. Then she leans in close and whispers that she charges for a round, a line that just breaks his brain. Next thing you know, he is on his knees in the hallway, completely shut down by her power move. She just watches him, noting there is something odd about him and deciding she cannot stick around. Back in their room, Sauda is mentally fried from that encounter while Takedo is already passed out. This next morning at 7:59 a.m., Takedo slowly starts to wake up, looking completely wrecked. Sauda is already at the window and his friend immediately starts complaining about being awake, but Sauda just tells him to get up because there is only 1 minute left until showtime. A now panicked Takedo scrambles to the window, finally realizing what Sauda's been waiting for. His face is just pure disbelief as he stares out at the sky, unable to process it all. And right on cue, a swirling green vortex of energy begins to form where the sun should be. Sauda watches it all unfold with a grim look, confirming that it is finally starting. Right on schedule, the entire city is drenched in a sickly green light from the new sun. On the ground, everyone is completely losing it, thinking they have suddenly gone colorblind. This mass confusion spreads as people realize, no, the sky is just objectively wrong now. Up in the sky, the emerald sun swirls into existence, looking all kinds of unnatural. Meanwhile, the Destroyer of Scorpio is just trying to find a new hotel, still salty about our boy waking her. It takes her a second, but she finally clocks the big green glowing thing in the sky. Her immediate diagnosis is not apocalypse, but that she has developed a rare medical condition, solid priorities. For a moment though, she is completely mesmerized, finding the whole end of the world vibe kinda pretty. This sky itself seems to respond to her, the green light pulsing with energy as she reaches for it. Her view transforms into a cosmic nebula with the Scorpio constellation shining right at her. In her eye, that same constellation burns bright, signaling the awakening of her power. This sudden rush of power is so intense it sends her stumbling back in total shock. And then she just collapses on the sidewalk, leaving a bunch of random dudes staring. Back with our boys, Sauda gives Takedo a grim look and tells him to get ready. A voice then echoes across the planet, calling all of humanity filthy, foolish earthlings. Great start. This voice confirms some have already gotten their gift, and Sauda knows exactly what that means. It goes on to explain that these chosen few now possess superhuman abilities. Of course, there is a catch. This is just the prelude to humanity experiencing true hell. A horrifying purple monster face appears in the sky, officially kicking off the Abyssal War. Its final message lays out the rules. Monsters will now pour through portals to invade Earth. This voice lays out the deal: beat the monsters and humanity gets a power reward real generous. Then it drops the bomb that abyssal portals are about to start appearing all over Earth. This rules get specific. 999 portals will open, each spawning a random number of monsters. Humanity's only win condition is to somehow defeat every single one of them, and the monsters win when they have eaten the last person alive. Simple, effective, horrifying. This cosmic horror decides it is monologued enough, saying games are more fun with surprises. It signs off with a condescending good luck, leaving humanity to whatever comes next. And just like that, the giant purple face vanishes from the sky over the city. Back in the hotel room, a terrified Takedo finally breaks the silence, calling out to Sauda. He's completely freaking out, desperately asking for reassurance that humanity will win this. Sauda just gives him a dead-eyed stare, which is probably not the answer he wanted. His mind flashes back to the brutal war he remembers, full of gods and demons clashing. Finally, he answers with chilling confidence, saying that they can definitely win. Takedo is just left confused and sweating, not quite getting the memo on their new protagonist status. Meanwhile, in some high-tech command center, world leaders are getting the same grim briefing. An old official confirms the worst. Earth has officially become a hunting ground for unknown creatures. One military hothead immediately starts yelling about blowing them all up with their nation's weapons. This guy Matsumoto insists the army can handle it while protecting civilians, a very optimistic take. But a cooler head named Aidu points out that small arms were totally useless against even a low-level monster. He finishes by stating they have no clue if any of their current weapons will even work on the next wave. Back in the command center, Matsumoto demands to know what the hell they are supposed to do now. So Aidu pitches the most classic anime idea ever. Let us form a super squad with the powered-up humans. This old official loves it but immediately dumps the entire recruitment problem right on Aidu's desk. Matsumoto, on the other hand, gets the much less fun job of keeping the entire country from rioting. With their marching orders given, the top brass all salute, ready to tackle the apocalypse. Meanwhile, Sauda is already explaining to Takedo that the government is about to form this exact squad. Takedo immediately gets nervous, asking if that means they're going to have to join the military, but Sauda shuts that down fast, saying they will fight as mercenaries instead, way cooler, less paperwork. He explains that in his past life, the protagonist got roped in by the government and lost all his freedom. Joining up might have its perks, but being a government dog is just not on his agenda. Takedo seems to accept this, but now he just wants to know what their first move is. Sauda gets a dark look, saying he has some personal business to handle before their training montage begins. His friend immediately picks up on the vibe, asking if this business is what he thinks it is. He even makes a little throat-slitting gesture, guessing Sauda's about to go take care of his uncle. Sauda's cold, silent stare is pretty much all the confirmation Takedo needs. Trying to be a good influence, Takedo begs him not to become a criminal, reminding him they are the heroes. For a second, Sauda actually looks affected by this, quietly saying he knows. But then his resolve hardens again, declaring he is going to handle this his own way. Speaking of the uncle, we cut to him and his buddy trashing their new house, already complaining about the apocalypse. This red-haired one is absolutely furious, blaming Sauda for not giving them the house before the world ended. This uncle, meanwhile, is just chilling with a drink, telling his pal to relax. Apocalypse can wait. He is surrounded by the mess they have made in their new house, completely unbothered by anything. His zen lasts until the booze runs out, at which point he starts screaming for a refill. Priorities. Before his friend can even respond, he is suddenly impaled by a shadowy blade from behind. This uncle completely loses it, seeing a knife sticking out of his buddy's back. Party's over. And there is Sauda kicking him clean over a table without a single word of warning. With ice in his eyes, our boy just looks down and promises the uncle he is next on the list. This uncle starts screaming about murder and Sauda just calmly admits he knows, zero remorse. Now he is pulling the family card, desperately pleading that they are related, which is a bold strategy. Sauda just scoffs at the word family, letting it hang in the air like a bad joke. Then he explodes, roaring about how this man stole from his mother and drove her to her death. He demands to know how his uncle could live so comfortably after destroying their lives for money. Cornered, the uncle starts begging, promising to reveal a secret if Sauda spares him. But Sauda is not buying it, raising his dagger to give him the same fate he deserves. In a final, desperate scream, the uncle blurts out that he knows who killed Sauda's mother. That one sentence stops Sauda dead in his tracks, completely thrown by the revelation. From the floor, the uncle repeats his claim, knowing it is the only thing keeping him alive. Our boy is just frozen, his entire revenge plot suddenly getting a lot more complicated. His eyes flare with blue energy as he furiously demands to know who it was. And the uncle confesses it was a police chief's nephew who killed her in a drunk driving incident. With ice in his veins, Sauda demands to know exactly how his uncle has this information. This uncle confesses he got the police chief drunk and has been blackmailing him with the secret for cash. And just like that, Sauda understands why the police completely buried his mother's case. Believing he has bought his life, the uncle pleads with Sauda and tries to make a break for it. Then he turns back with pure hatred, swearing he will never forgive Sauda, real class act. His threat is cut short by a sudden, blinding flash of pain in his eye. This guy drops to his knees, clutching a shadowy blade that just materialized in his chest. It is Sauda's dagger, thrown with lethal accuracy right through the scumbag's heart. Sauda just watches with a cold smirk, one part of his revenge finally settled. And right on cue, Takedo walks in, completely stunned to find a dead body in the hallway. Our boy just tells him to ignore it, casually mentioning that a lot more people are about to die. With that settled, he lays out the plan, a 2-week training arc for Takedo's eagle eye ability. Bags packed and ready to go, the two officially begin their apocalyptic journey. Sauda asks if he is ready, and Takedo gives a determined grin, confirming he is all in. They seal the deal with an epic fist bump, officially forming their 2-man apocalypse squad. 2 weeks later, a lone car cruises down a highway, taking us to a whole new scene. Inside, a white-haired woman and a pink-haired woman discuss their mysterious new partner, Shiju. This driver notes her background check on him was clean aside from some problematic relatives. Gee, I wonder who. They pull up to an abandoned factory, which the pink-haired woman identifies as their meeting spot. Peering forward, she announces with a worried look that she can see them. This ladies arrive at the rendezvous point, which looks suspiciously like a generic industrial park. A blonde guy in a trench coat is already waiting, looking way too cool for this parking lot. Their massive SUV rolls right up to him, stopping just short of a dramatic confrontation. As the two women step out, the guy just stands there, ready for his big entrance. He flashes a sparkly grin, welcoming them like he is the star of the show. And their reaction is just a collective, unimpressed chibi glare, absolutely zero enthusiasm. But then the pink-haired woman does a double take, a sudden realization hitting her. She points in disbelief, asking if this chiseled pretty boy is actually their old pal Takedo. Takedo strikes a pose, hamming it up and asking if they really forgot him after only 2 weeks. This white-haired woman notes that power changes people, but this is a full-blown personality transplant. Suddenly, a backpack comes flying through the air with some serious velocity, which Takedo catches without even breaking his dramatic stance, total show-off. And there is Sauda looking effortlessly cool as he tells Takedo to grab his gear. Our boy then hops into the driver's seat, ready to get this show on the road. Takedo cannot help but smirk, silently roasting his friend for trying to act so cool. With everyone buckled in, the driver asks Shiju, Sauda's new alias, for their destination. Sauda lays out the plan. They are hitting the third portal, deep in the Twin Tower ruins parking garage. This driver confirms the target, and with a determined look, she hits the gas. We cut to the Twin Towers at 11:30 p.m., looking ominous under a full moon. And deep below, the team stands on a giant number 3, right where the portal is set to open. This white-haired driver confirms everything is exactly as Sauda, under his alias Shiju, predicted. He then asks her to use her ability to check if anyone else is lurking nearby. She reports back that the area is completely empty and looks like it has been abandoned for ages. With a confident smirk, Sauda lays out the battle plan. They defend, he will handle all the attacking. But Takedo immediately pops up, reminding him that he's got another powered-up fighter right here. Sauda just shoves him with an elbow, telling him to just not screw it up. Peak friendship right there. Right on cue, the portal begins to tear open at midnight in a swirl of dark purple energy. His eyes flare as he announces that their guests are officially arriving. Meanwhile, the two women wisely take cover behind a concrete pillar, staying out of the splash zone. A torrent of shadowy energy pours out from the portal, starting to take a monstrous shape, and it forms into a massive purple slime monster, which has Takedo immediately freaking out about its size. Sauda tells him to keep it together as they both stare down the giant, wobbly horror. He quickly reminds Takedo to remember the strategy they went over before this. Takedo recites the intel perfectly. It is a slime with 2 attacks, acid spit or tentacles. They lock in the plan. Takedo will destroy the tentacles, clearing a path for Sauda's real attack. This 2 of them stand ready as the giant purple blob looms over them in the parking garage. Takedo cannot help but comment on how creepy its wriggling is, looking totally grossed out. With a determined look, Sauda tells him they need to end this fight as quickly as possible. This slime monster wastes no time, lashing out with a massive tentacle-like tongue. Then it unleashes a volley of corrosive purple blobs right at them. Takedo's eagle eye ability flares to life, locking onto the incoming projectiles. He opens fire with a furious roar, unloading a clip to intercept the acid blobs. Both of them dive and weave through the absolute chaos of tentacles and corrosive spit. But while Takedo is going full Rambo, Sauda calmly spots his opening and dashes forward. Our boy launches himself into the air with a battle cry, dagger poised to strike. With one clean slice, he carves right through the monster's main body, and the giant blob just melts into a pathetic, twitching puddle on the garage floor. Sauda casually waves over the 2 women, letting them know the coast is clear. He tells the pink-haired woman to finish it, and the slime puddle just agrees. As she raises her dagger to destroy the core, a mysterious black orb drops from the ceiling. Takedo immediately screams for her to get away, sensing something is very wrong. Everyone freezes as the orb hurtles down, about to crash the party. It detonates in a blinding flash of light, sending the entire team flying across the garage. Dazed, the team picks themselves up, wondering who the hell just ambushed them. This slime monster reforms, mockingly congratulating them for surviving its little trap. Then a new challenger enters the ring, a smug-looking guy who says he will let them live. For now, he strolls forward like he owns the place, declaring the slime monster is his property. In a total power move, he just walks off with his new pet, completely ignoring our heroes. Sauda is left absolutely fuming, completely blindsided by this turn of events. And the white-haired woman immediately turns on him, calling out his completely unreliable intel. This white-haired driver immediately takes the heat, admitting she has no excuse for the bad intel. But the smug new guy just cuts her off, telling her to get lost, no time for the blame game. This guy looms over them, annoyed that they are here when no other force should be in the city. Sauda recognizes this dude, realizing they have to take him down now, way ahead of schedule. Without a word, our boy steps right up to him, ready for a one-on-one showdown. Their new enemy smirks, calling Sauda a brat, while our boy worries about the butterfly effect. Sauda just lets out a world-weary sigh, completely unfazed by the tough guy act. This immediately gets under the villain's skin, who demands to know why he just sighed. With a smirk, Sauda grabs his wrist, calmly explaining he already predicted this little hiccup. This guy is completely caught off guard by Sauda's speed and confidence. He throws a furious punch, but Sauda catches it clean, stopping him dead in his tracks. Our boy grits his teeth, holding the line against a surprisingly powerful blow. His opponent just smirks, mockingly complimenting Sauda's strength like he is just warming up. Then he sends Sauda flying with a kick, as our boy realizes this guy's power is totally abnormal. Midair, Sauda yells for Takedo to make his move, and his partner is already on it. Takedo unloads his clip, but every single bullet gets stopped by some kind of golden energy barrier. This guy just casually swats the bullets away with his weird floating black orbs. He is actually a little impressed, admitting he never thought two kids could be this skilled. But Takedo's not done, charging up some kind of fiery new attack with a grin. This villain just scoffs, telling him it will not work as he prepares his own counterattack. And Takedo's fiery blast actually connects, sending the villain stumbling back in total shock. He drops to one knee, completely stunned that he actually took a hit from these kids. That surprise immediately curdles into pure, unadulterated rage. Then we flash back to a memory where this same villain is cornered by Sauda and Takedo, who tell him to surrender. After pretending to give up, the villain makes a sudden, desperate dash forward. He completely ignores Sauda, realizing his real target is the other guy. Getting right in Takedo's face with a crazed grin, he is ready to strike. Takedo throws up a block, but the villain's punch is already breaking right through it. That single blow sends Takedo flying across the room like a ragdoll. Past Sauda screams his partner's name, his face a mask of fury and panic. He immediately leaps into the fray, trying to get some payback for his friend, but the villain just casually catches his entire face midair, not even a challenge. With a surge of power, he slams Sauda headfirst into the concrete floor. Our boy is left dazed on the ground, completely and utterly outmatched. This villain looms over him, radiating a terrifying dark aura of victory. Grabbing Sauda by the chin, he winds up for another brutal hit. And a vicious right hook connects squarely with our boy's jaw. This is followed by a merciless barrage of punches, just an absolute beatdown. This villain even has the nerve to compliment Sauda's physical enhancement skill mid-pummeling, before calling him too damn weak and landing yet another devastating blow. Back with the rest of the team, the two ladies are suddenly on high alert, with Captain Bai drawing her weapon. A new long-haired brawler has appeared, and she immediately orders him not to move. He is way too fast, though, landing a gut punch that sends her pistol flying. With Captain Bai down for the count, he coldly warns the pink-haired woman to stay put. Cut to the aftermath, everyone's in the hospital where a doctor confirms Captain Bai's organs are fine. She has just got some minor bone fractures, and the pink-haired woman is massively relieved to hear it. This doctor then reports Takedo only has muscle damage, which is apparently great news to him. Naturally, Takedo starts flexing his bandaged arm, bragging about how he is just built different. His arm, however, is screaming in protest under all that gauze, and he immediately folds over in pain, getting disowned by Sauda and the doctor on the spot. Once the doctor wisely excuses himself, Sauda is left with his conscious teammates. He apologizes to the pink-haired woman, Chang Ting, for how badly the mission went down, but Sauda quickly pivots, asking her what her special ability actually is. She lights up, going full Chibai mode and promising to show him something amazing. A small, controlled flame then flickers to life right on her fingertip. Sauda guesses it is pyrokinesis as Takedo pops in with stars in his eyes, totally amazed. With a confident smirk, she tells them it is not quite that simple. She reveals her true power is elemental mastery, juggling 4 different elements in her palm. Takedo's jaw hits the floor, completely blown away by the impressive display. Meanwhile, Sauda is already analyzing this, recalling the novel's rules on multi-elemental abilities. Sauda's mind races, remembering the novel's legend of an all-element user with god-tier power. And Chang Ting smugly confirms she is now packing that exact kind of legendary strength. She breaks down the basics for them. Fire and water are for pure raw offense. Her wood element is for powerful healing abilities. This earth element can be used to throw up some seriously tough defenses, and metal is for enhancing weapons. She is basically a one-woman army. Takedo, with literal stars in his eyes, asks if they can trade powers, getting instantly shut down by Sauda. Changing the subject, Sauda asks about her next move, and she teases some insider information. Our boy is all ears, telling her to spill the details immediately. She reveals the government is already creating a special task force to deal with the Abyss seeds. Chang Ting then formally invites Sauda to join, but he flat-out refuses to become a government agent. Internally, he notes that events are unfolding way faster than they did in the original story. She tries to persuade him, warning that fighting the coming monster waves alone is basically a death wish. While she pitches the benefits of teamwork, he counters that joining means losing his freedom to act. His firm refusal clearly leaves her looking pretty bummed out. Sauda quickly reassures her that even if he is not on the team, he will still fight to protect his country. Accepting his decision, she offers her help anytime, and he immediately takes her up on that offer. After a hilariously awkward pause, our hero admits what he really needs is some money. Chang Ting just bursts out laughing, boasting that while her family name is whatever, her bank account is huge. She casually offers up $1 billion, leaving Takedo completely speechless and Sauda looking thrilled. Sauda goes full chibai mode, haggling down from $1 billion like he is doing her a favor. Chang Ting immediately shushes him, insisting there is absolutely no scheme afoot, totally trustworthy. She just winks, confirming the $1 billion is fine, and casually asks for his account number. Takedo's soul just about leaves his body, completely baffled that she is actually handing over that kind of cash. As Sauda tries to make a quick exit with his partner, she points out that Takedo is, still injured. Our boy gives a breezy thumbs up, claiming it is just a flesh wound, while Takedo screams about his lack of consent. Watching them go, Chang Ting correctly guesses he is using the money to build his own private army. We then cut to the two of them walking outside some sleek modern corporate building. Takedo finally asks the big question, why do they need cash if the whole monetary system is about to collapse? Sauda explains they are starting their own mercenary group, and apparently you cannot do that with good vibes alone. Getting hyped, Takedo asks about their next move, and Sauda immediately volunteers his uncle for real estate duty. Sauda lays out his very normal base requirements: remote, secret, and oh yeah, feel free to threaten your uncle. His partner is just a little concerned that Sauda is starting to sound like a full-blown supervillain. With that sorted, Sauda declares it is time to get back to training until the next apocalypse monster shows up. Takedo just stares ahead, probably rethinking some of his recent life choices. But their quiet moment is interrupted by a sudden, ominous "oh no" from off-screen. We jump to what looks like some kind of training facility or school campus. Inside, two people are just laid out flat on the floor of a massive, empty room. A nearby screen reveals the news. The government has officially formed a special department to fight the Abyss seeds. This newscaster confirms the special department is already up and running in 6 major cities. While the boys chill on the floor, Takedo asks about the new government bases, but Sauda's focused on their own HQ. His partner whines that their base will not be ready for another 2 weeks, and he is getting antsy for a fight. Sauda casually informs him the next Abyss seed shows up in 3 days, so it is time to get moving. And just then, a woman radiating pure dark energy smashes in, screaming that she has finally found them. Without missing a beat, our boys are on their feet and in a defensive stance, ready for whatever's coming. This newcomer, Scorpio, reveals she got reamed out by her captain for a week because of them, and she looks pissed. Her glare is absolutely lethal as she fumes about the trouble they have caused her. A quick flashback shows she has seen Sauda before, surprised to learn he was an ability user. Back in the present, Sauda wonders why this infamous mercenary is suddenly on their doorstep, but her terrifying entrance immediately deflates as she collapses to the floor, begging for some water. Takedo, a true gentleman of culture, immediately forgets the danger and sprints over with a bottle. We get a full-on romantic close-up of their hands touching, because of course we do. She immediately starts flirting, calling him handsome and asking if he's got a girlfriend. Scorpio then dials the charm up to 11, asking what he thinks of sister here. And just like that, Takedo's brain completely short-circuits from the attention, poor guy. Sauda, the designated adult in the room, cuts in to ask what she is actually doing here. She finally introduces herself properly as Scorpio from the 12 Celestial Stars mercenary group. It turns out the big brawler they absolutely demolished earlier was one of her teammates. Takedo instantly pulls his gun, assuming she is here to settle the score for her fallen comrade. But she just calmly pushes his gun down, clarifying she is here to recruit them, not kill them. Sauda tries to get a word in, but Scorpio just puts a finger to his lips, telling him to hold on. She then delivers her captain's ultimatum: either join their mercenary group or she has to kill them, a very persuasive offer. Takedo, ever the brave one, steps up with a smug grin, pointing out that it is 2 against 1. Her eye just twitches in absolute shock that this guy had the nerve to interrupt her. And in the next instant, Takedo is down on one knee, completely blindsided by an invisible attack. He is clutching his face as some kind of poison effect takes hold, calling her an old hag for playing dirty. Seeing his partner get taken out so easily sends Sauda into a state of pure shock and rage. Our boy immediately leaps forward, ready to throw hands to protect his friend. Scorpio just finds the whole thing hilarious, teasing Takedo for his sudden change of heart. But then her playful demeanor vanishes, replaced by a terrifying dark aura as she demands their answer. Both our heroes are sweating, realizing they have seriously underestimated this woman. Their tense standoff is suddenly broken by a new voice calling Scorpio an old witch. A whole new squad of thugs has arrived, led by a very short, very angry man in a suit. Scorpio is visibly annoyed by this interruption, cursing her terrible luck. She explains this is the Poison Sting Squad, and they have got some bad blood between them. This squad leader goes on a very graphic rant about breaking all her limbs and feeding her to wolves. Sauda, ever the diplomat, cannot help but ask what she did to make this guy so unbelievably mad. With a completely straight face, she delivers the single most devastating line possible. I castrated him. Our boy's brain just completely blue screens at that reveal, and frankly, who can blame him? This enraged squad starts marching forward, ready for payback, with our hero stuck right in the crossfire. This squad leader kicks things off with some truly vile, misogynistic trash talk. Scorpio is absolutely furious, screaming that he is practically begging to die. This guy just keeps yapping, boasting that he has completely figured out her tricks and came prepared. In response, she just powers up, erupting in a terrifying green aura of pure poison. Sauda, having just cured Taquito, tells him to get clear, but Scorpio tells them to hold on. She then unleashes a massive wave of toxic energy right at the enemy squad. This green sludge monster roars as it barrels down on the thugs, ready to melt them, but one of the goons just smirks, activating some kind of golden purification ability. His holy-looking shield completely neutralizes her poison attack on contact. Her face is pure shock, while the counter-user looks way too smug about it. Their leader gloats that he brought a purification user specifically to counter her poison. Realizing she has been completely played, Scorpio can only grit her teeth in frustration. Another one of his goons immediately follows up with a slicing wind attack. This blades hit her dead on, sending her flying back and drawing blood. With Scorpio injured, the boss orders his whole crew to move in for the kill. Their charge is cut short though, as bullets suddenly pepper the ground right in front of them. Taquito is back on his feet, guns aimed, and delivering a classic action hero one-liner. Sauda steps up to protect the downed Scorpio, telling her she owes them a huge favor. Seeing two more ability users in the mix, one of the thugs wisely suggests a tactical retreat. This enraged squad leader reluctantly agrees, ordering his men to pull back for now. Scorpio is absolutely livid, screaming at the boys to chase down and finish off the retreating squad. Sauda immediately powers up, blue energy swirling around him as if he is about to obey, and he unleashes a couple of energy slashes that just barely miss the fleeing goons. With the enemy gone, Scorpio turns on them, calling them idiots for not actually killing anyone. She then pulls a dramatic sigh, blaming herself for this whole mess, a masterclass in manipulation. Her new angle is that they have made a powerful enemy, so joining her crew is their only path to survival. But Sauda just smirks, calmly telling her he has a much better suggestion in mind. She's a little thrown, asking if he is seriously turning down her very generous, life-saving offer. Our boy then hits her with the ultimate Uno reverse, inviting her to join his mercenary group instead. She is completely stunned by his sheer audacity, but Sauda confirms he is dead serious. Finding him amusing, she says she will not join so easily, basically telling him he will have to prove his worth. Sauda then notices her wounds have vanished, and she smugly hints her powers are not just limited to poison. Taquito, having zero patience left, immediately gets in her face, accusing her of trying to trick them again. She just winks back, casually dropping a line about how deception is just part of her charm. With that, she gracefully floats away, blowing a kiss and promising she owes them a favor. Taquito is left fuming about what a total loss this was, since they now have two factions after them. Sauda, ever the pragmatist, just says their location is blown anyway and it is time to move on. They confirm the next Abyss seed appears in 5 days, deciding to head to the next city early for a break. A quick transition shot shows them arriving in the bustling metropolis of F-City. And as they are walking through their new turf, Taquito suddenly points out something in the distance. This building he spotted is the official registration center for the Zone 6 Abyss combat team. Naturally, Taquito thinks it is a brilliant idea to go poke the government hornet's nest. Sauda considers it for a moment, that little scheming glint already back in his eyes. Without waiting for an answer, Taquito just slings an arm around him, ready for some sightseeing. Our boy agrees, secretly hoping to scout some powerful new recruits mentioned in the novel. Inside, the lobby is packed with potential applicants and some very serious-looking armed guards. They walk up to the front with Taquito offering a very casual hello there to the staff. A sharply dressed man with white hair and glasses approaches, asking if they are here to register. Sauda immediately starts probing, asking if superpowers are a mandatory part of the application. This guy just smiles, explaining that as long as you have got skills, you are welcome to try out. He then introduces himself as Chi Ji-eun, the man running this whole operation, and that name hits Sauda like a truck. He definitely recognizes it from the novel. Chi Ji-eun clocks his reaction immediately, giving him a very smug, all-knowing look. Sauda plays it off, claiming he is just surprised because the name sounds like a friend's, a truly terrible lie. His mind races, recalling that Chi Ji-eun was the most feared non-ability user in the entire story. This guy used to be a government agent before his city got wiped out, after which he started his own crew. Nobody knew his actual power, just that he was a tactical genius who pulled off impossible victories. His most legendary feat was soloing 3 high-level Abyss seeds when even top-tier mercs could not. To top it off, he even fought the strongest member of the 12 celestial stars and won. For a time, this absolute unit was known as the Crownless King, a man whose power was a total mystery. Sauda recalls how Chi Ji-Yuan's army was eventually wiped out by hundreds of smaller mercenary groups, and before his death in the novel, he insisted he was just a normal dude with absolutely no powers. A light bulb goes off in Sauda's head. He absolutely has to recruit this tactical genius for his own crew. Back in the present, he puts on his best, "we are just normal guys" act, asking for a tour. Chi Ji-Yuan plays along with a smug grin, inviting them to his office for a detailed introduction. As they walk through an outdoor plaza, a whole other plot is brewing just out of sight. Meanwhile, a new squad of mercs is casing the joint, noting the heavy security presence. Their sensor guy boasts he only detected 3 ability users, calling them easy pickings, famous last words. This blonde leader just smirks, getting confirmation from his sniper that the target is locked. High above the city, a scope is zeroing in on its objective, and we see the sniper, Joss, confirming she's got a lock and is ready to fire on command. With a terrifyingly evil grin, the boss starts a 5-minute countdown to their attack. He gives the go-ahead and the operation officially kicks off. Unaware of the impending chaos, our boys are sitting down for a chat in Chi Ji-Yuan's office. This man himself starts pouring them tea, a classic power move disguised as hospitality. He offers them a cup of his favorite blend, keeping up the friendly facade. But Sauda immediately shuts it down with a polite thanks but no thanks, keeping his guard up. Chi Ji-Yuan notes their caution and decides it is time to drop the act and get down to business. His glasses glint as he leans in, asking what they are really doing here. And both our heroes are completely caught off guard, their poker faces shattering instantly. Chi Ji-Yuan cuts right to the chase, calling them out as ability users who are not here to sign up. His gaze locks onto Sauda, immediately identifying him as the one with all the secrets. With a classic villainous glasses push, he says there is no doubt Sauda knows exactly who he is. Sauda tries to play it off with a friendly wave, sticking to his truly awful "you have a friend's name" lie. But Chi Ji-Yuan explains he has a special intuition, a little gift he has had since childhood. He can apparently read people's emotions and actions like a book, basically a human lie detector. This man lays out the paradox. Sauda knows him intimately, but he is a complete stranger to Chi Ji-Yuan. Leaning in, he demands to know who Sauda really is and what the hell his purpose is here. Our boy is sweating under the pressure, feeling the full weight of this guy's intense aura. He makes one last attempt to play the ordinary people card, which is just adorable at this point. Done with the games, Chi Ji-Yuan threatens to hand them over to a special interrogation department. And just like that, a blue energy cage springs up, trapping them both right in the office. He boasts that this little trap can hold an ability user strong enough to beat a level 3 Abyss seed. Sauda's response is to immediately try and punch his way out of it, so much for diplomacy. This actually gets a reaction out of Chi Ji-Yuan, who looks genuinely shocked for the first time. This barrier is tough, but our boy smirks, clearly not too worried about this high-tech prison. With one more solid hit, he completely shatters the energy field into a million pieces. Having made his point, Sauda finally admits he is an ability user but asks the man to believe him. He insists they have absolutely no malicious intent, trying to look innocent after breaking the man's expensive toy. Chi Ji-Yuan is already analyzing, guessing Sauda's power is physical enhancement and at least level 4 or 5. Chi Ji-Yuan throws his hands up, claiming he is totally helpless and has no choice but to trust them now. Sauda just flashes a charming smile, asking if he really looks like such a bad guy, and their little heart-to-heart is interrupted by a massive explosion ripping through the office wall. Our boy is completely stunned, caught totally off guard by the sudden, violent attack. His reflexes are insane though, as he instantly yanks Takedo behind him for cover. Chi Ji-Yuan, on the other hand, just looks mildly annoyed, like this is a minor inconvenience. Shadowy tendrils lash out at him, but he just casually summons a fiery shield to block them. He then counters with a massive fireball, proving his "I have no means to resist" line was pure garbage. This whole office is left a smoking wreck, with our heroes caught right in the crossfire. Standing in the smoke, Chi Ji-Yuan is already analyzing Sauda's power, noting his elemental resistance. Takedo checks on Sauda's arm, pointing out the burns prove he is not completely immune. An alert suddenly blares through the comms. The entire headquarters is under heavy attack. Takedo's face drops, realizing they have stumbled into a full-blown war zone. A building-wide announcement orders all personnel to respond, and Sauda looks ready for a fight. He immediately turns to Chi Ji-Yuan, promising to help if the man will just trust him. Chi Ji-Yuan uses his lie detector intuition, sees the honesty in Sauda's eyes, and agrees to the truce. Taking command, he tells them to follow him to the main lobby to confront the invaders. Outside, we see the building's automated defense turrets are already firing back at the enemy. But that does not stop a massive rocket from streaking through the sky, aimed right at them. This sniper Joss curses in frustration, realizing her target is way tougher than she expected. Meanwhile, the sniper Joss unleashes a massive ball of destructive energy, ordered to blow the roof off. Her attack slams into the top of the headquarters, tearing the entire structure apart. With a smug grin, she reports back to her boss that the target has been suppressed. This blonde leader gives the signal, and his crew is ready to move in for the kill. Inside, the building's actual combat team realizes their headquarters is under a full-scale assault. This invaders march into the lobby, coming face to face with the defenders and their armed guards. This boss's right-hand man scoffs at a 1-minute timeline, boasting he only needs 10 seconds, and his leader just smirks, starting a casual countdown for the slaughter to begin. His subordinate is just in awe of the boss's meticulous, terrifying planning. This defenders power up, demanding the mercs surrender for their act of terrorism. Unfazed, the blonde leader's countdown hits the 5-second mark. His subordinate blurs into action, taking on all 3 ability users by himself. One of the defenders is completely stunned, having lost track of the guy in an instant. This attacker moves so fast he is practically untouchable, effortlessly dodging their combined assault. Just as promised, he finishes his job in exactly 10 seconds flat. What a professional. This regular guards try their luck, unloading a hail of bullets on the blonde leader, who just casually stops every single round in midair like he is Neo from the Matrix. One of the soldiers is left stammering in absolute terror, realizing he is facing a monster. This guy floats there, admiring the frozen bullets like they are a work of art. What a psycho. He then sends the bullets right back at the guards, turning their own weapons against them. This blonde leader mockingly thanks the guards for their bullets, looking absolutely unhinged. He then orders his team to split up and find the core data since they have only got 14 minutes. But his smug expression vanishes as he screams a warning to his crew, because a bullet is suddenly inches from his face, completely bypassing his powers. And look who it is, Chi Ji-Yuan, flanked by our boys with a smoking gun and a casual hey. This enemy sniper Joss radios in, saying the intel was wrong and a new ability user wants to play. His boss just smirks, telling him not to take too long with his new toy. So Joss powers up his rifle with some seriously flashy purple energy, loading explosive rounds. Back in the lobby, Chi Ji-Yuan calmly demands to know who these uninvited guests are. Smirking back, the invader correctly assumes he is talking to the man in charge, matching his smug energy. One of his goons introduces their crew as the Rose Waltz Mercenary Corps, knife in hand. That name seems to ring a bell for Chi Ji-Yuan, who looks like he is putting some pieces together. But Sauda's mind is blank. He has never heard of this group, meaning they are a total wild card. Done with the pleasantries, Chi Ji-Yuan demands to know who sent them on this suicide mission. This leader, John West, pulls the professionalism card, saying he cannot reveal his employer. Instead, he offers the super edgy suggestion to go ask Satan real creative stuff. At that moment, a purple sniper beam zips down the hall, aimed right at them. Takedo's eyes flare as he screams a warning, spotting the sniper shot first. He immediately draws his own pistol, leaping to intercept the deadly attack, and his bullet collides with the sniper's energy blast in a shower of sparks. Takedo's bullet meets the sniper's, and Joss is absolutely thrilled to find a fellow gunslinger. She pulls out a special, skull-marked bullet, promising this next one will be a real treat. With a flash of purple energy, she fires off a round that looks like it could level the whole building. Takedo's eyes flare gold. He can tell this incoming projectile is on a completely different level. So he powers up his own pistol, which is now literally on fire, ready to match her shot. Their superpowered bullets collide in a massive explosion of light and energy, a perfect stalemate. This resulting shockwave blasts through the lobby, kicking up a huge cloud of dust and debris. John West radios his sniper, smugly noting she has found her match, but Joss insists she's just getting started. Sauda turns to Chi Ji-Yuan, asking for a plan now that they are pinned down by a crazy strong sniper. Cracking the pavement under his feet, Sauda decides he is done waiting for an invitation to act. Chi Ji-Yuan lays out the grim reality. They are outgunned and suppressed by a professional merc. With his eyes glowing, Sauda makes a snap decision, realizing fighting here is a losing battle. He just grabs his 2 new friends and makes a mad dash for it, screaming at them to run. This trio literally crashes through a window to escape the sniper's line of sight, so much for a stealthy exit. This blonde leader just smirks, calling it a smart move as his team requests permission to chase them. But he denies the request, keeping his sniper focused on the main mission, not the sideshow. Joss lowers her rifle, bummed out that she cannot keep playing with her new ability win. Having found some cover, Sauda thinks they are finally safe for a moment to catch their breath. He turns to Takedo, apologizing for dragging him into this mess and making a tough call. But Chi Ji-Yuan cuts in, saying running was smart, but Sauda has no idea what he has truly stumbled into. With a quick scan of his phone, Chi Ji-Yuan activates some kind of emergency protocol. He is on the line ordering his special forces team for ability users to get moving now. After hanging up, he coolly lights a cigarette like his office was not just blown to bits. He then tells Sauda and Takedo to head back, walking off like he's got this handled. Sauda is left reeling, just now processing that this place has its own superpowered SWAT team. Back in the lobby, John West is in disbelief as his entire mercenary crew is already neutralized. He is completely losing it, screaming about how their abilities just suddenly stopped working. Forced to his knees, the terrorist has the nerve to call his captors monsters. And for that little comment, he gets a boot planted firmly on the back of his head. This special forces captain looms over him, mockingly repeating the word monsters. This scarred veteran then asks if maybe the guys who blew up a building are the real monsters here. One of his soldiers reports in, admitting the enemy sniper was too cunning and got away. But the captain just takes a drag, brushing her off as nothing more than a scared rat. John West is still having a full-blown tantrum, ranting about being a talented genius chosen by God. As a spent bullet casing clinks on the floor, the mercs are left to contemplate their epic failure. At that moment, our trio finally makes their way back to the now secured lobby. This captain greets Chi Ji-Yuan with some friendly trash talk, teasing him for running away. Smirking, Chi Ji-eun introduces the man to Sauda, calling him by his codename Black Panther. This guy is the captain of the 4th District, and he looks like he eats nails for breakfast. Sauda realizes this is Chi Ji-eun's strongest fighter, a legendary warrior from his past. Black Panther, oozing pure badass energy, offers Sauda a cigarette like it is a job interview. Our boys just give the most wholesome no thanks, completely killing the vibe in the cutest way possible. This captain then pulls the classic "you know who I am, right?" card, expecting some serious awe. Sauda just hits him with a polite "nope, first time meeting," which has gotta sting the ego a little. Internally, our boy is realizing he is surrounded by absolute monsters and needs a much better poker face. Chi Ji-eun decides to dip, leaving the kids with his top dog to have a little chat. Looking them over, the captain immediately tells Chi Ji-eun he is poaching them for his own squad. Chi Ji-eun seems to approve, acknowledging that Black Panther is indeed an exceptional warrior. So he throws out the official job offer, asking if they are ready to join the big leagues. Sauda politely turns him down, saying he will help when needed but prefers his freedom, a classic hero dilemma. Surprisingly, Chi Ji-eun is cool with it, leaving the door open for them to join anytime. He then excuses himself to go clean up the absolute disaster zone they left behind in the lobby. As he walks away, the two friends are left to process the insane job offer. Sauda suddenly calls out, asking about the next abyss, which he thinks is in 4 days. But something in the air shifts, and he freezes, realizing he has missed something crucial. An absolutely terrifying aura explodes from Chi Ji-eun, who looms over them like a final boss. He just gives them this cryptic little smile, enjoying their confusion way too much. Correcting him, Chi Ji-eun says the abyss is in *5 days and walks off, leaving them with that bombshell. Now outside, Sauda and Takedo are left to wonder what the hell that was all about. Sauda mutters that Chi Ji-eun is a monster, while Takedo asks if he thinks the guy actually likes him. Sauda is left reeling, wondering if he is not the only one with foresight after all. He spirals a bit, realizing he cannot prove he is the only special one in the world, a classic main character crisis. Takedo snaps him out of it, telling him to focus on their next move since Chi Ji-eun is handling the big picture. With a new fire in his eyes, Sauda declares that the next abyss is going to be theirs *. His new philosophy is simple: if he is not unique, he will just get strong enough to crush any obstacle. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, the streets are completely locked down by armed forces. An overhead view shows the entire district is a ghost town, totally deserted and cordoned off. Takedo's eyes glow gold as he scans their surroundings, and he does not like what he sees. Inside their safe house, he tells Sauda that their situation looks pretty hopeless. Sauda just clutches his face, dramatically saying it hurts so much he wants to cry moody hero stuff. And just then, a creepy voice coos from outside their door, calling for her little brother to let her in. Both of them instantly recognize the voice, and they are absolutely not thrilled about it. Takedo starts panicking, asking how the hell this woman managed to track them down. Her patience wears thin as she starts rattling the door, calling them little brats. A swirling golden energy appears on the lock as she just decides to let herself in with her powers. This door swings open to reveal a red-haired woman and 2 goons, one of whom looks awfully familiar. This long-haired guy gives them a smug wave, greeting the little rascals like it is a family reunion. Our boys are just radiating pure get-out-of-my-house energy, clearly not happy with this visit. This woman shoves her partner aside, who complains loudly, "Great to see the uninvited guests have team chemistry." She then turns to the boys with a smile, saying she is just here to talk business, which never means anything good. Sauda gives them a hard stare, not exactly buying their friendly business proposal. This long-haired guy introduces himself as Badger, captain of the 12 Celestial Stars, a name that sounds way too cool for him. And Takedo absolutely loses it, cackling at the ridiculous codename Badger. His own teammate even roasts him for it, but Badger insists his name is awesome, bless his heart. Meanwhile, Sauda's mind is racing. This Badger was not in the novel, making him another dangerous unknown. Getting serious, Badger reveals a new abyss is opening at midnight tonight, and they all know it. He lays it out. The location is already locked down, and he knows they are here to make a play for it. Sauda cuts right to the point, asking if they want his help to snatch the next abyss seed. With a confident snap, Badger confirms that is exactly the plan. Sauda's answer is a swift and brutal "I refuse." He explains why it is a terrible idea since they are just 5 people against a whole controlled zone. Even if they somehow succeed, he continues, they will have the entire 6th district hunting them down. In fact, they'd become enemies of the state, so what insane offer could possibly make that worthwhile? This big guy Scorpio seems impressed by Sauda's logic, admitting a truly shocking price is required. He then holds out a small pouch, asking if the contents are enough to change his mind. Inside are 2 brilliantly glowing abyss stones, 1 blue and 1 gold. Takedo's eyes practically turn into stars, instantly recognizing the priceless artifacts. Sauda just stares intently, the weight of this insane offer sinking in. Badger explains the blue one is for body enhancement, which his crew cannot even use. But the second one, he says with a smirk, belongs to someone Sauda has already met. Sauda connects the dots, asking if the gold stone is from the sniper, and Takedo's brain just short circuits. Badger gives him a smug ding ding ding, confirming he is absolutely right. He even flashes back to his team's satisfying victory, which looks a lot like a brutal beatdown. Then he dangles the ultimate prize, saying these 2 stones are a perfect match for them. With a grin that screams, "I have already won," he asks if they are ready to make a deal. Takedo, meanwhile, is whispering to Sauta about the mechanics of looting corpses for their powers priorities, man. Sauta clarifies that it is a super rare drop, so do not go getting any bright ideas, buddy. But his friend is already lost in a fantasy of risk and reward, his eyes sparkling with pure greed. Our boy immediately shuts that down, reminding him that being dead is a major obstacle to getting stronger. So for the second time, Sauta turns them down flat, much to Takedo's visible disappointment. Badger just sighs, annoyed that this kid is turning down a literal treasure trove right in front of him. Even Scorpio is losing his mind, grabbing his captain and asking if they are seriously still refusing this offer. In a surprise move, Badger pulls the golden sniper stone from the pouch and just tosses it to Sauta, calling it a gift since he will not force a partnership. Yeah, totally no strings attached. Scorpio starts to question this incredibly generous move, looking at his captain in disbelief, but a single, terrifying glare from Badger shuts him down instantly. Realizing his mistake, Scorpio just sweats and decides that silence is indeed the better part of valor. This uninvited guest then take their leave, waving goodbye like this was a perfectly normal business meeting. Sauta is not fooled for a second, watching them go with a look of pure contempt, and now we see their target, a completely deserted city district, ready for the abyss to open. Scorpio is already losing it, asking his captain why he'd just give away such a rare stone. Badger just gives him a sly look, asking what he thinks the relationship is between those two kids. He keeps pushing the question, leaving Scorpio with a face that just screams dial-up noises. This captain muses on whether they are friends, comrades, or a team like their own. Poor Scorpio is completely lost, practically begging his boss to speak in plain English for once. Badger then delivers a savage burn, saying he'd quit drinking if Scorpio had half a brain, damn. Walking off, he cryptically tells his fuming subordinate that he will understand everything soon enough. Scorpio immediately turns to the red-haired woman for a translation, but she looks equally done with him. She just follows the captain, leaving the guy to stew in his own glorious confusion. This sends him into a full-on tantrum, yelling about why no one can just be direct. Meanwhile, Takedo asks Sauta what he thinks their uninvited guests were really up to with that gift. He argues that even if it is a conspiracy, a matching abyss stone is too valuable to ignore. So Takedo absorbs the sniper's stone, unleashing a massive pillar of golden energy. This light is so intense it blasts out of their window, lighting up the entire building. Takedo is absolutely ecstatic, shouting that his eagle eye ability just got a massive range boost. His evolved power can now lock onto any target within 500 meters, seeing them through any cover. Pumping his fist, he declares that with his weapon and perfect accuracy, he is basically invincible. Sauta just watches, genuinely impressed by his friend's powerful new secondary skill. Feeling the hype, Takedo wonders if they should have taken the deal so Sauta could get a similar boost. But Sauta just smirks, secretly knowing his soul can absorb any asterisk stone, a trump card he is keeping to himself. Takedo wonders if they should warn Chi Ji-eun about Badger's crew, but Sauta just scoffs at the idea. His friend immediately gets the shivers, realizing picking a fight with that absolute monster is a terrible idea. Sauta then lays out the stakes. They need to get strong enough to seize the next abyss or they will be left in the dust. But Takedo points out the tiny flaw in that grand plan. They need to actually recruit people first. Running through the candidates, Sauta dismisses all the big names as either too powerful or too political to recruit. He digs deep into his novel knowledge, desperately trying to remember any other potential allies. Suddenly, Sauta has a eureka moment, and Takedo just asks if he is having a stroke or something. With a huge grin, our boy admits he is sick for forgetting someone so incredibly important. He remembers a character who was a total nobody in the novel but had an S-tier ability that was later inherited by a legend. This guy apparently got his powers at a welfare center for disabled children in the old F-City. If they can recruit him, Sauta explains to a confused Takedo they will have a major asset, assuming he is even awakened yet. Not wasting a second, he just grabs his friend and they are off on a brand new side quest. Arriving by bus, Takedo has no clue where they are, and Sauta just hopes this is not a total waste of time. They find themselves at a schoolyard, watching a bunch of kids play while a man supervises. This guy then walks over, politely asking what two shady-looking dudes are doing at a children's center. Sauta lays on the charm, claiming they are here to make a generous investment in the organization. This director, Zhu Fei, is totally thrilled by this, welcoming his new potential donors with open arms. He invites them inside to discuss the details, completely unaware of their real motive. But just as they are heading in, a voice cuts through the air demanding Zhu Fei pay back a debt. A whole squad of goons rolls up and it looks like the investment meeting is officially postponed. This director awkwardly tells our boys to hold on, needing to handle some unexpected guests. Turns out that business is him desperately begging a loan shark for just a few more days. This boss, Zhang, is not impressed, reminding him he has heard this exact same excuse before. Negotiations then break down spectacularly as the boss just slaps him, demanding the yard as payment. Zhu Fei is absolutely crushed, the weight of his failure hitting him all at once. He still tries to plead for one last chance, looking completely defeated. But the boss has already declared the yard his, already planning to build a resort on the land. He then orders his goons to kick out all the children, a real humanitarian this one. That is the last straw for Zhu Fei, who finally finds his spine and gets furious. Takedo asks if they should intervene, but Sauta is just watching this whole drama unfold. This hired muscle starts getting impatient, telling the director to get a move on already. In a last-ditch effort, Zhu Fei physically blocks the boss, promising he will pay back the debt. With a truly evil grin, the boss admits he never wanted the money, just the property. He even complains that the kids are bad for his feng shui, a top-tier scumbag for sure. Pushed to his absolute limit, Zhu Fei warns the man not to push him any further. Boss Zhang just laughs in his face, basically daring him to do something about it. And suddenly Zhu Fei goes completely silent, his face hidden in an ominous shadow. Because his eyes are now glowing with a terrifying dark energy, oh, he is the guy. A monstrous fiery demon with a glowing core manifests right behind him, ready to go. And just like that, Boss Zhang's smug attitude evaporates into pure, unfiltered terror. Boss Zhang suddenly collapses to his knees, foaming at the mouth in pure terror. His goons freak out, thinking he is having a heart attack and need to rush him to the hospital. Yeah, a asterisk supernatural asterisk 1. As the thugs make a hasty retreat, Takedo is just staring, trying to process what the hell he just saw. Sauda, on the other hand, just has this little smirk because he knew exactly what was going on. Back inside, Zhu Fei apologizes for the interruption, offering them a drink like nothing happened. Cutting right through the awkwardness, Sauda asks him flat out how long he has had his ability. Zhu Fei tries to play dumb, sweating and insisting he has no idea what Sauda's talking about. Our boy is not buying it for a second, telling him the world has changed and he knows it better than anyone. He then lays it all out. Earth has become a playground for abyss seeds. And soon, Sauda continues, the old laws and rules of the world are going to be completely rewritten. While pouring some water, he acknowledges Zhu Fei's power but warns him not to get too comfortable with it, because trying to protect this place all by himself is absolutely impossible. Zhu Fei listens intently as Sauda explains that one person's strength is ultimately limited. With more and more people awakening, he will not be able to defend the children or the center alone. Finally getting fed up, Zhu Fei demands to know what Sauda's real purpose is for being here. And with a confident smile, Sauda prepares to make his big recruitment pitch. He formally introduces himself as Chang Ting and his friend Cheng Yu, offering a handshake. Then he gets straight to the point. He wants Zhu Fei to join their team. Zhu Fei immediately gets suspicious, asking if they are some kind of government agents. Sauda clarifies they are not official, just a small mercenary group looking for talent. Zhu Fei immediately cuts to the chase, asking if joining them means putting the children in constant danger. With a stone-cold expression, Sauda just hits him with a simple yes, no sugarcoating here. That is an instant no from Zhu Fei, but Sauda counters that with more danger comes way more protection and resources. Our boy then paints a grim picture of the future, asking what happens when society collapses and ability users are everywhere. He leans in with the million-dollar question, what exactly are you going to face then all alone? Using Boss Zhang as an example, he points out that any scumbag can just hire their own powered-up goon to fight back. This logic bomb completely shatters Zhu Fei's composure, leaving him totally speechless. Sauda delivers the final pitch, promising to protect the children with his life if he joins their team. This poor guy is having a full-on existential crisis, agonizing over the impossible choice. Playing it cool, Sauda tells him to take his time and starts to head out with Takedo. They leave the director to stew in his thoughts, the recruitment offer just hanging in the air. Outside, Takedo gives him a thumbs up for the smooth talk, then asks what Zhu Fei's insane ability actually is. Sauda reveals it is one of the scariest powers in existence, simply called Nightmare. His friend just blinks back, having absolutely no idea what that means. It is a psychic power, Sauda explains, that traps people in a custom dream world just through eye contact. Takedo gives him a playful punch, clearly hyped by how ridiculously overpowered that sounds. This catch, Sauda continues, is that any damage you take in the dream world happens to your real body, so do not get caught. Takedo's mind is completely blown, thinking the ability sounds absolutely invincible. But our boy clarifies that even one of the strongest powers has a massive, exploitable flaw, and the big weakness is that it requires direct eye contact to even work, a classic Achilles heel. Sauda adds that if the target's mental game is stronger, the power can actually backlash on the user, a fun little feature. Takedo mulls this over, realizing the ability is a seriously high-risk, high-reward kind of deal. At that moment, his phone starts buzzing and he quickly answers the call. Whatever news he gets is clearly amazing because his face lights up with a massive, triumphant grin. He hangs up and tells Sauda their secret base is already finished, way faster than they ever expected. Just then, Zhu Fei steps out of the center, looking like he has finally made up his mind. Standing before them, he is ready to give his final answer to their very persuasive recruitment pitch. And it is a yes. He admits Sauda was right and he cannot protect the children alone in this new world. Our boy extends a hand, promising to uphold his end of the bargain to keep them safe. With a firm handshake, their three-man team is officially born. Zhu Fei then asks the most important question, what is their team name, a detail Sauda completely forgot. Sauda strokes his chin, trying to pull a cool name out of thin air like a pro. He lands on Foreseer, not bad for an on-the-spot decision, honestly. Soon after, they are driving down a winding mountain road, leaving the old city behind them. Takedo's at the wheel while Sauda rides shotgun, looking cool and mysterious as usual. In the truck bed, Zhu Fei is on full-time dad duty with the kids asking if they are there yet, the classic road trip experience. He just smiles patiently, telling them they are almost at their new home. This truck finally screeches to a halt at their destination, kicking up a cloud of dust. Zhu Fei announces their arrival with the kids peering out to see their new digs, and their secret base is a goddamn luxury mansion with a fountain. Yeah, that will do. Takedo is absolutely losing his mind over their new base, his eyes literally sparkling with dollar signs. This kids from the center are just as thrilled, running ahead to check out their beautiful new home. A nervous-looking man in a suit greets them at the front who turns out to be Takedo's uncle, and the guy looks like he is about to have a full-blown panic attack just seeing them arrive. Takedo gives his second uncle a huge thumbs up, completely oblivious to the man's sheer terror, then leans in to whisper that Sauda is a bad dude, which is just peak-level trolling. His uncle is just sweating buckets as Takedo teases him about being old and overworked. While Sauda just watches this whole exchange and the uncle's fear level somehow goes up another notch. Suddenly, our boy shouts for everyone to stop, sensing something is very wrong here. Zhu Fei immediately pulls the kids back, asking Sauda what is going on, and even Takedo is confused, turning to his friend for an explanation for the sudden alarm. He confronts his uncle, demanding to know what he did, but the guy is just frozen in fear. Before collapsing to his knees, begging for forgiveness and claiming he was forced into something, not waiting to find out, Sauda summons an energy shield ready for an ambush, as the whole mansion suddenly feels less like a home and more like a trap. Just then, the front doors creak open, revealing someone's hand. Both Sauda and Takedo whip around, their expressions turning deadly serious, and a single boot steps out onto the stairs, building the tension. Out walks a woman named Mukyu, waving like she is just dropping by for tea, who casually mentions it was hard to find them and Sauda just tells her not to scare people to death next time. Mukyu immediately starts roasting Sauda, asking why he is so jumpy for a mercenary leader. Takedo just admits he almost opened fire on her, looking completely thrown off by her sudden appearance. She then sizes up the new guy, asking Sauda if Zhu Fei is the latest addition to their little club. Sauda makes the formal introductions between Zhu Fei and Mukyu with the kids looking on. And just like that, Mukyu declares herself the fourth member, because apparently that is how hiring works now. Without waiting for an answer, she grabs Sauda and drags him inside to talk business. Both Sauda and Takedo are left completely clueless, wondering what the hell is even happening. Meanwhile, the kids are having the time of their lives, running wild in the massive foyer. Mukyu then offers to show Sauda the operating room, like she already owns the place. It is a full-blown command center, leaving Takedo stunned and wondering if his uncle built all this. Turns out his uncle did, and he is treating it as a very expensive loan they will have to pay back. Our boy cuts right to it, demanding to know from Mukyu what her real angle is here. She explains she is tired of her family's restrictive rules and has decided to join them for some fun. Better yet, she is offering to bankroll the entire operation, all expenses and ammo are on her. Takedo is immediately on board, telling Sauda to accept because she has got potential and a huge wallet. Sauda weighs the pros. She is a powerful elemental user with access to state-level resources and weapons, but he knows her sensitive status could bring a whole new world of trouble down on them. His friend is not having any of the hesitation, grabbing his arm and telling him to just say yes already. Mukyu just gives him this intense, unblinking stare, waiting for his final decision. Deciding he is taking too long, she just declares his silence is a yes. Welcome to the team, I guess. Mukyu formally asks to be taken care of, while Takedo just screams at Sauda to agree already. Talk about peer pressure. But Sauda just hits her with this impossibly smug smirk like he has already won the lottery. He officially welcomes her to the Foreseer Mercenary group, making the whole thing official. And Mukyu immediately roasts the name, admitting she expected something a little more intimidating. Our boy's ego just completely shatters, wondering if his cool on-the-spot name is actually that lame. Shaking it off, she tells them to follow her, promising a big surprise she is prepared. Elsewhere in the mansion, Zhu Fei is on full-time dad duty trying to wrangle the kids. He just laughs it off, explaining they are a little overwhelmed by their new 5-star home. Mukyu immediately volunteers to hire support staff for the kids because of course she does. This leaves Zhu Fei completely overcome with gratitude, thanking her for taking on the responsibility. She proudly declares it is her duty as vice captain, a title she just gave herself, by the way. This whole scene is surprisingly wholesome, a moment of genuine connection in the chaos. After getting the kids settled, she says it is time for the real surprise, leaving the guys to watch. Sauda just gives his friends a deadpan look, completely baffled by their sudden emotional moment. She then leads them to a massive vault door that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. With a dramatic flair, she turns and asks if they are ready for the big reveal. She pulls out a dinky-looking remote, admitting she had to rush the setup a little bit. But hey, who cares about the details when there is a giant red button to press? And with a click, the massive doors slide open with a blinding flash of light, revealing something that leaves all three of them completely and utterly speechless. Inside is a ridiculously high-tech training facility, complete with an octagon and a shooting range. This whole place is a massive, futuristic arena built for some seriously intense combat practice. Takedo's mind is blown, asking if this insane setup is actually their new private gym. Sauda then points to another area, curious about the gear displayed on some mannequins. His friend recognizes the suits, noting they look just like the exoskeletons a rival uses. Mukyu explains it is the military's newest model, designed to let regular soldiers fight ability users. She boasts that it is loaded with gadgets and they will be the first to get the next-gen version, flexing hard. This is so impressive. Takedo literally bows in worship and she is absolutely loving it. But she admits even with her connections, she cannot get her hands on the state secret ability inhibitor. Sauda just smirks, clearly having his own thoughts about this so-called inhibitor. He internally dismisses it as a toy that will be useless once ability users get truly powerful. Meanwhile, Takedo spots a new shiny console and runs over to it like a kid in a candy store. Mewtwo immediately freaks out, screaming at him not to touch anything. But it is Takedo, so of course he slams his hand down on the controls anyway. He looks around completely clueless for a moment, wondering what he just did. A split second later, a laser blast zips right past his head, scaring him half to death. Even Zhu Fei has to dodge a shot as the whole room suddenly turns into a live fire zone. From a turret's POV, we see Takedo freaking out about nearly getting his head taken off. Mewtwo calmly explains it is a simulated firing device for reaction training, for professionals, and poor Zhu Fei just stands there, seriously wondering if it is too late to quit the circus. Mewtwo casually asks Sauda if she should hire a professional instructor to whip them into shape. Sauda immediately guesses she means Aunt Bai, clearly familiar with her family's reputation. But she corrects him, this person is even more legendary, the head instructor of her entire family. Our boy gets a bit antsy, asking if this new recruit will be trustworthy or just another complication. She assures him it is fine since the guy is her retired god-grandfather, totally harmless, right? With that settled, Sauda gives the green light and she promises to bring him over immediately. This team chills in their new gym, waiting for the arrival of their supposed legendary trainer. Mewtwo then warns them to rest up because tomorrow they are all in for some hellish training. Takedo looks absolutely horrified by the concept of putting in actual effort for once, and he promptly collapses to his knees, screaming in despair like his life is already over. This next day, their new master arrives, an old man in a wheelchair looking pretty banged up. This is Mu Renzin, who greets them with a casual good morning from his mobile throne. These guys are immediately skeptical, whispering about how this injured old man is supposed to train them. Mewtwo runs over, demanding to know if her god-grandfather got hurt sneaking off to go fishing again. He explains that his wife caught him and he ended up rolling into a ditch, a truly fearsome origin story. Then he gives them a terrifying grin, promising he only needs one arm and one leg to train them. Takedo calls him arrogant, puffing his chest out and reminding him they are not ordinary humans. But Mewtwo backs the old man up, warning them that one limb is more than enough to handle them all. Takedo flashes a smug grin, clearly not believing a word of it and ready to test that theory. This old man just glares back, accepting the challenge from the cocky youngsters with pleasure. This old man calls Takedo over, ready to teach the cocky kid a lesson from his mobile throne. Takedo brags that he is way stronger than most people, basically asking if the old man is suicidal. And the master's first lesson is literally just come on, hit me. A classic trap if I have ever seen one. Not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, Takedo powers up a punch, ready to oblige. But instead of a knockout, he just gives the old man a little poke on the arm, peak trolling. Mu Renzin is absolutely fuming, demanding a real hit while Mewtwo just tells Takedo to stop messing around. After getting the green light, Takedo cracks his knuckles, asking one last time if he is sure about this. Then he unleashes a full power punch, yelling for the old man to watch out. Only for Mu Renzin to block it with one hand and drop him with a single chop to the neck. Takedo hits the floor, seeing double and crying about an ambush, which is just pathetic. This old master just scoffs, telling him his speed is way too slow. Seeing his friend get wrecked, Sauda steps up with a smirk, saying he will take a turn. He politely informs the master he will start at 10% power so he does not accidentally hurt him. Our boy powers up his body reinforcement, a blue aura flaring around his fist, and throws the punch which Mu Renzin stops dead with just 2 fingers. Sauda is completely stunned, staring at his fist like it just betrayed him. This old man just gives him a look that says, "Is that all you got?" and tells him to keep going. So Sauda amps it up to 30%, getting a little more serious now. But the master just casually swats his attack aside like he is shooing a fly. And just like that, Sauda is left speechless and sweating, his confidence completely shattered. This old master gives a backhanded compliment about Sauda's tough bones, clearly unimpressed. From the floor, Takedo yells at his friend to stop holding back, warning him this guy is the real deal. So Sauda decides to go all out, powering up a full force punch and giving a final warning. Mu Renzin just gives him a dead serious look and tells him to bring it on. With his eyes glowing, Sauda throws everything he has into one massive, energized strike. But the master does not even flinch, his focus absolute as the attack closes in. Instead of blocking, he counters with a lightning-fast 2-finger strike to Sauda's wrist. Another quick tap hits a pressure point on his arm, completely neutralizing the attack. This sends Sauda stumbling backward, his momentum totally reversed by the old man's precision. Our boy is left clutching his arm, which has gone completely numb from the strikes. He is now seriously questioning reality, wondering how a normal person could do this. And in a sudden mood shift, he is a chibai complaining about his hand hurting so much for tough. This old man plays along, whining that his own hand hurts from hitting such an unyielding opponent. Sauda, already recovering, is just amazed and asks what kind of crazy technique that was. Internally, Mu Renzin is shocked at how fast the kid recovered, admitting he is impressive. This master smugly asks if they are convinced now and Sauda immediately bows to his greatness. Mukyu cannot resist a good "I told you so," bragging about her grandpa's legendary past. Her grandpa quickly cuts her off with a cough, clearly not wanting his whole life story aired. Even Takedo is a convert, respectfully asking the master to teach them his incredible skills. Mu Renzin grins, calling it his unique skill that they cannot master but can learn the basics of. This old master explains his technique is all about hitting pressure points to shut down opponents fast. He promises that mastering this skill is their best shot at survival, even with their fancy abilities. Sauda is totally sold, bowing respectfully and telling the grandpa they are counting on him. In fact, the whole team is bowing now, practically begging the old man to teach them his ways. Mu Renzin warns them that the special training is going to be unbelievably tough, so they better be ready. Then his face goes full-on demon mode as he declares it is time to begin. This is gonna hurt. This octagon suddenly lights up, signaling the official start of their first day in hell. It is an immediate free-for-all, with everyone trying to land a single hit on the wheelchair-bound master. This old man just smirks, effortlessly dodging every single attack they throw his way. Even Mewtwo's lightning-fast lunge is stopped cold as he casually catches her wrist mid-strike. Sauda watches her get tossed aside like nothing and decides it is his turn to jump into the fray. His punch is easily deflected, with the master locking his arm in a painful-looking hold. This guy is literally styling on all three of them at once from his wheelchair. It is not even a fight. Sauda's next kick is caught just as easily, leaving him completely wide open for a counter. And the master prepares a devastating strike with just a few fingers, which he then jabs right into Sauda's chest, knocking the wind clean out of him. Our boy goes flying backward across the mat from that single, precise jab. After thoroughly wrecking them, the master calmly holds up a hand and calls an end to the day's training. This entire team is just sprawled out on the floor, completely exhausted and wondering what is for dinner. And Mewtwo, ever the professional, reminds them to use her title before also asking about food priorities. Zhufei is on the verge of puking but still manages to ask about dinner, a man of priorities. Sauda, equally dead to the world, suggests instant noodles, the true meal of champions. From his wheelchair, the old master is actually impressed, admitting the kids have real talent. He even calls Takedo a martial arts prodigy, right before calling him slow as we see him drooling on the floor. A phone suddenly starts buzzing in Sauda's pocket, interrupting their collective misery. Our boy, still completely floored, somehow manages to answer the call. From their star-shaped formation of exhaustion, the rest of the team asks who it is. Sauda sits up, announcing their mercenary group has its very first mission, much to everyone's surprise. Takedo is instantly revived, praising his friend for being so capable and getting them work already. Their master wheels away, telling them to be careful before leaving them to their tactics meeting. Once he is out of earshot, he is a chibai complaining about how ruthless the kids are, what a drama queen. This team now sits in a circle, eagerly waiting for Sauda to spill the details on the job. He reveals the mission comes from a guy named Chi Jiyuan, looking pretty pleased with himself. Mewtwo immediately recognizes the name, shocked that the head of the 6th district is hiring them. Her mind instantly goes to the worst-case scenario. If he needs help, this mission is probably a death trap. Sauda admits he does not have the specifics, just that they need to meet the client at headquarters. With that, the team rallies and prepares to head out from their training facility. Their destination is the 6th district headquarters, a massive, imposing skyscraper. Inside an office, the whole crew sits looking totally zoned out while waiting for the briefing. A man in a suit then bows deeply, begging them to accept the mission for the honor of his district. Mewtwo is absolutely losing it, demanding to know why the district head is hiring mercs for this mess. Chi Jiyuan explains his forces got wiped out by a group called the 12 Constellations, so he has no choice. Sauda calmly accepts the job but adds one little condition to the contract, looking pretty smug about it. He wants custody of the captured members of the 12 Constellations, all of them. This client pushes back, offering a counter deal since that is a bit much. Sauda can take just one. With a sly grin, Chi Jiyuan reveals he knows Sauda is only after one specific person anyway. Our boy is impressed, realizing this guy is sharp enough to have already figured out his plan. This deal is set, and Sauda immediately demands to be taken to see her. Suddenly, the whole team is on their feet, scrambling to get moving right this second. Chi Jiyuan warns them they have to rush. Someone called the Black Panther is interrogating their target now. Meanwhile, in a sterile-looking facility, a squad of armed guards marches down a corridor. Their leader, a scarred man with a cigarette, asks his men if the prisoners have cracked yet. His subordinate reports that the captives are professionally trained and have not given up a single thing. This captain just grinds his cigarette under his boot, clearly annoyed with the lack of progress. Deciding to take matters into his own hands, he orders the door opened for a personal interrogation. A heavy door slides open, revealing a dark room with glowing red security devices. Inside a glass cell, 3 prisoners sit waiting as the captain and his men approach. One of the captives is already banging on the wall, yelling about fighting fair and square, classic tough guy talk. This captain just lights up another smoke, completely unfazed by the prisoner's little tantrum, and the guy just keeps hammering on the glass, screaming to be let out of his box. This scarred captain takes a long drag from his cigarette, agreeing to the prisoner's demand with a smug fine. He then orders his men to open the door and let the loudmouth out for a little one-on-one. A guard hits the release button on a remote, and the glass cell slides open for the 3 captives. Immediately, the long-haired prisoner charges out, screaming that he is going to kill the captain. This captain does not even flinch, his eyes narrowing with a look of pure, cold focus. Instead of fighting back, he just whips out a handgun with practiced ease and presses it right to the prisoner's forehead, stopping his attack dead in its tracks. This captain taunts him, asking why all that tough talk suddenly dried up. Our prisoner starts sweating, trying to call him a coward for using a gun and a power-disabling device. In response, the captain just kicks his legs out from under him, dropping him hard to the floor. He looms over the guy, reminding him that he was the one who wanted a fair fight. Then he grinds his boot into the prisoner's head, who can only call him a shameless scoundrel. This captain happily agrees, adding that he has no patience and is giving him 3 seconds to talk. He starts the countdown, the prisoners face a mask of pure, unadulterated terror. Hitting 3, he tells the guy to remember the name of the man who is about to end him, his finger tightening on the trigger, ready to finish the interrogation permanently. But a voice suddenly shouts for Black Panther to stop, halting him at the last second. Sauda's crew has arrived, and this Black Panther looks incredibly annoyed by the boring interruption. He complains to Chi Ji-eun for always ruining his fun right at the best part. Tossing his cigarette, he warns the district head that this kind of meddling is going to be his downfall. Chi Ji-eun glares at Black Panther with pure disgust, clearly not a fan of his methods. Just then, the prisoner Sauda's here for makes her grand entrance, casually greeting him. Black Panther ignores her, instead commenting on how much Chi Ji-eun's little group has grown. His attention then turns to Mu-kyu, asking if her grandpa knows she is running with this crew. With a sly wink, she confirms her grandpa is totally on board with all of this. Black Panther warns her to be careful anyway, since he will be in hot water if the Mu family heir gets hurt. He then asks her to pass along his regards to her master, trying to sound important. But Mu-kyu reveals to the team that this guy was one of her godfather's worst trainees ever. And that burn hits so hard it sends Black Panther stumbling away in shame, absolutely beautiful. With that awkwardness over, Chi Ji-eun finally tells the prisoner she is free to go. She steps out in her high heels, making a very deliberate, dramatic approach, walking right up to Sauda and calling him her good little brother. She gets way too close for comfort, thanking him for not leaving his big sister behind. Our boy is immediately flustered, blushing like he has never seen a woman before. Mu-kyu is having none of it, jumping in to tell the woman to keep her hands off Sauda. This just amuses the redhead, who correctly guesses Sauda has a little girlfriend now. They both absolutely lose it, with Sauda yelling teammate and Mu-kyu screaming vice captain. This woman just laughs at their panicked denials, finding the whole thing adorable. Deciding she has had her fun, she bids farewell to the captain and the gorilla. Ouch. Meanwhile, the other 2 prisoners are just standing there, completely ignored by everyone. Back at headquarters, the newly expanded team sits down for a proper mission briefing. This redhead immediately asks Sauda if he is really okay with her joining the crew. Mu-kyu cuts in, admitting the new girl is strong but clearly has some major reservations. She whispers to Sauda, asking if this woman can actually be trusted, but he has already decided she can. And Mu-kyu is just disgusted, accusing him of being completely blinded by a pretty face. She is not wrong. Chi Ji-eun interrupts the drama, telling them to rest up because their opponents from Zone 1 arrive tomorrow. With a deadly serious look, he tells them he is counting on them to pull this off. Sauda just gives him a confident smile, promising they will give it everything they have got. After telling them to relax, Chi Ji-eun takes his leave, closing the door behind him. The second he is gone, the redhead is back on Sauda, while Mu-kyu looks ready to commit murder. Our boy finally explains the job. They are fighting for Zone 6 in a competition against Zone 1. His new sister is confused, wondering why 2 official zones are fighting and where Zone 6's own team is. Sauda has to awkwardly admit that Zone 6's fighters are just kinda weak, a fact she finds hilarious. He explains this competition is a peaceful way to decide who gets control of the next abyss. She immediately gets down to business, asking the most important question: what is the payout? This deal is half the abyssal stones if there are more than 2, plus some freedom to operate in the zone. But Sauda knows a secret: the abyss has 6 seeds, making this a much bigger score than anyone realizes. This redhead is totally blown away by his planning, grabbing his hands and calling him amazing. Not to be outdone, Mu-kyu jumps in with her own sparkly-eyed praise. The competition is on. And Sauda just leans back, loving every second of the attention as the girls basically fight over him. Sauda rallies the troops, declaring their first official battle needs to be absolutely spectacular, and the whole crew is instantly on board, shouting in unison like a proper shonen team. Meanwhile, their opponents from Zone 1 arrive, looking like a boy band that moonlights as assassins. Their leader, a guy named Long Tao, is already throwing shade, completely unimpressed with the local decor. Chi Ji-eun steps out to greet him, trying to keep things civil with an old acquaintance. But Long Tao is having none of it, immediately declaring that Zone 1 is taking the abyss. He then sizes up Sauda's crew, calling them a bunch of misfits and telling Chi Ji-eun to just surrender. Chi Ji-eun reminds him they have known each other for 10 years and Long Tao has never won. Ouch. Long Tao counters that he is an ability user now, leading the nation's strongest, unlike the old days. He then gets right in his face, gloating that he has far surpassed his ordinary rival. Chi Ji-eun just gives him a patronizing smile, basically saying, "Sure, buddy, whatever you say." From the sidelines, Sauda scoffs at the strongest ability user's claim, clearly unimpressed. Long Tao lays out the rules: a 5-on-5 elimination match, first team to 3 wins takes all. With a knowing smirk, Chi Ji-eun agrees to the terms, looking like he has got an ace up his sleeve. He then tells everyone to get moving, leading the way to the battlefield. These two teams face off in a massive underground training facility ready for the showdown. Just before it starts, Chi Ji-yoon hands Sauda a file with intel on the enemy team's abilities. Sauda glances at it with a confident smile, impressed by his client's prep work. Chi Ji-yoon just adjusts his glasses, quoting Sun Tzu like the master strategist he thinks he is. A cocky blonde from Zone 1 steps forward, taunting them about who is brave enough to fight first. Sauda picks the nervous Chu Fei for the first match, who looks absolutely shocked to be chosen. Giving him a quick pep talk, Sauda explains the opponent's illusion power is the perfect target for Chu Fei's nightmare ability. So the match begins with the blonde opponent taunting him while the rules are laid out: no killing, just surrender or knockout. This blonde dude immediately activates his power, his eyes glowing with a menacing blue light. Chu Fei is instantly frozen in place, looking like he's been caught in the illusion. From the sidelines, Long Tao smugly declares the fight is already over since eye contact is all it takes, but one of his teammates suddenly notices something is very, very wrong with their own guy. This illusionist is the one freaking out, sweating and trembling while his teammate calls out his name in confusion. He collapses to his knees, screaming in agony as he is trapped in a terrifying red-hued nightmare. This tough guy is now a sobbing mess, begging for his life from some unseen horror. So much for that confidence. A close-up on his eye reveals the reflection of a demonic, fiery beast, showing us exactly what he is seeing. Inside his mind, he is being swarmed by terrifying red monsters, completely helpless and screaming for someone to save him. One of the nightmare creatures sinks its teeth right into his arm, making the mental attack feel painfully real. He's just flailing around in the real world, a puppet being tormented by a horror show in his own head, and the guy is just absolutely wailing, a full-panel scream of pure, unadulterated terror. Suddenly it is over, and Chu Fei casually wipes his brow over the code opponent, calling it an easy win. Long Tao is absolutely furious, accusing Chi Ji-yoon of being a despicable cheater for using intel to counter his team. Chi Ji-yoon just roasts him, saying this is basic strategy and it is no wonder Long Tao failed military tactics class back in the day. Fuming from the burn, Long Tao calls up his next fighter, a much bigger and angrier-looking dude. Meanwhile, Chi Ji-yoon gives Chu Fei a well-deserved thumbs up as the whole crew celebrates their first victory. Chi Ji-yoon smirks, noting that Chu Fei's mental power is way above your average illusionist. Up next for Zone 1 is Wang Tianlei, their supposed strongest physical enhancement user. But a new face from Sauda's crew, a guy named Chang Ting, steps up with a confident look. He points right at the big guy, calling him out for the next round. Love the energy. Long Tao scoffs, thinking Chi Ji-yoon's intel is useless since his guy's true ability hard counters physical types. This match kicks off with Wang Tianlei giving a sportsmanlike "be careful" before they clash. Chang Ting immediately lands a kick that sends his opponent flying, wondering if he is really that weak. From the sidelines, a blonde teammate celebrates the quick takedown, totally impressed with the performance. Both Long Tao and Chi Ji-yoon watch with intense focus, the real battle being one of strategy. But Wang Tianlei pops right back up, dodging attacks and demanding another round. Not letting up, Chang Ting launches another powerful kick, aiming to end this for good. And it connects right in the gut with a massive impact, a seriously solid hit. This force sends Wang Tianlei skidding across the floor, looking like he is finally down. Except he is not, landing perfectly with a red aura flaring around him, ready for more. Now Chang Ting is confused, feeling like his own power is fading since that kick did nothing. He throws a desperate flurry of punches to try and overwhelm him with sheer speed, only for Wang Tianlei to block it effortlessly, shocking our boy completely. Sweating bullets, Chang Ting is totally stunned as his team yells at him to finish the fight. His teammates are getting worried, with the blonde wondering if the enemy is getting stronger. This white-haired analyst corrects him. It is not that Wang Tianlei is stronger, it is that Chang Ting is getting weaker. This fight grinds to a halt as Wang Tianlei effortlessly catches Chang Ting's fist, completely shutting him down. Now glowing with stolen power, he taunts that it is finally his turn to go on the offensive. He winds up for a massive punch, launching himself forward with a terrifyingly confident smirk. Chang Ting barely gets a block up, already looking overwhelmed by the sudden power shift. He is immediately forced onto the back foot, dodging a brutal kick as the tables completely turn. It is a total reversal as Chang Ting ducks and weaves, desperately avoiding a storm of punches. Wang Tianlei mocks him for just running, asking where all that big talk from earlier went. And then a punch connects, a solid gut shot that sends our boy reeling back in pain. He finally understands every single time they touch, his own strength is literally being stolen from him. From the sidelines, the team realizes this is a power-draining ability, and they are in some serious trouble. This white-haired analyst makes the tough call, ordering Chang Ting to surrender immediately. Of course, the enemy team's smoker just cackles, absolutely loving every second of their despair. Wang Tianlei explains his broken ability. He steals half his opponent's strength with every single hit. With a smug grin, he declares the match is already over, a total checkmate move. Even his own teammates are screaming at him to give up, telling him his safety comes first. But Chang Ting is not done, glaring at his opponent and calling him his ultimate nemesis. He vows to win anyway, pulling out a glowing blue weapon that looks like an energy whip. Wang Tianlei is completely unimpressed, doubting he can even land a hit in his weakened state. With a smirk, Chang Ting reveals his weapon enhances his body and has a secret passive ability. His opponent just shrugs, basically telling him to bring it on and see what happens. Chang Ting unleashes his energy whip, catching Wang Tianlei completely off guard with a surprise slash. This hit sends the big guy flying across the arena, looking like a solid takedown for a second. Now holding a small blade, Chang Ting lectures him about the rookie mistake of underestimating people. But Wang Tianlei just gets up, smugly pointing out that our boy just touched him again, big mistake. From the sidelines, the redhead sighs, wondering when her reckless little brother is ever going to learn. She then asks the rest of the crew why they are not worried, but they all look comically unbothered. Sauda just points with a grin, confidently stating the outcome has already been decided. Over on the enemy bench, the smoker figures out the weapon is poisoned, a classic desperation play. A black poison spreads from Wang Tianlei's chest as his teammate yells at him to end it quickly. He just scoffs, boasting that his own energy can dispel toxins before lunging forward again. A brutal flurry of punches follows, completely overwhelming the now drained Chang Ting. Wang Tianlei mocks him, saying he is no different from a helpless 3-year-old right now. Winding up for the final blow, he declares the fight is officially over, just as Chang Ting reveals a hidden needle, shouting that now asterisk is the perfect time. This needle strikes Wang Tianlei's arm, who flinches in surprise at the unexpected counterattack. Having landed his secret move, Chang Ting gracefully leaps back to create some distance. Unfazed, Wang Tianlei dismisses it as a weak joint attack, telling him to just surrender already. His teammates agree, smugly declaring that one more punch should be enough to end the match. Suddenly, the white-haired smoker gets a bad feeling, shouting that something is definitely wrong here. His purple-haired teammate asks what he means, but he cannot explain the nagging sense that things are off. This smoker's eye widens, that bad feeling turning into full-blown panic. Meanwhile, Wang Tianlei is just standing there looking dazed and confused inside some weird red aura. And then blood starts dripping from his body, pooling on the floor. Uh-oh, that is not good. His captain absolutely loses it, screaming at Wang Tianlei to just knock him out now with one punch. Taking the order, the big guy launches himself forward for the final blow, ready to end it. But Chang Ting just stands there, completely unfazed as the fist flies right towards his face. He even cracks a smirk, calmly telling his opponent that he has already lost this fight. Right on cue, Wang Tianlei collapses to his knees, his attack stopping dead in its tracks. He is sweating and trembling, completely clueless about what is happening to his own body. His team is in shock since they thought his energy should have neutralized any poison. This smoker realizes the horrible truth. It is not a toxin, it is massive blood loss from that tiny needle. Chang Ting towers over his fallen opponent, asking if their team even has a healer on standby. A woman from their team rushes in, using some kind of green healing ability to save him. Wang Tianlei is barely hanging on, breathing hard as the healing magic tries to stabilize him. He apologizes to his captain for being careless and losing such an important match. This smoker just takes a long drag, his silence way more terrifying than any yelling could be. Suddenly, the purple-haired teammate steps forward, declaring she is taking the next round. She rips off her jacket, revealing a much more practical fighting outfit underneath. With a wild grin, she reminds everyone they can still win if they take the next 3 matches. Over on Sauda's side, the blonde teammate just points, looking a little intimidated by how strong she seems. This blonde guy tries to act tough for his sister, telling everyone she is just as scared as he is. What a guy. Reading the intel on their next opponent, Sauda blushes as he learns her ability is projection. His confidence quickly returns, though, as he admits this next match is going to be a tough one. Meanwhile, the blonde teammate is all bravado, insisting his 2 girls can totally handle her, no problem. Sauda is not so sure, realizing projection could be even more dangerous than elemental control. This ability lets her create anything from her imagination, its power tied to her own strength. And judging by her physique, Sauda figures she is packing some serious mental and physical stats. This blonde guy starts to sweat, asking the million-dollar question, can she make a missile? Sauda's deadpan yes is probably not the answer he was hoping for. In fact, he recalls a story where a projection user literally nuked an entire city, so yeah, this is bad. Their opponent Xiao Ying gets tired of waiting, telling them to fight or get out. Rising to the challenge, the blonde guy steps forward, volunteering to take her on himself. But before the match can start, some suit-wearing official interrupts the 2 captains. He whispers some urgent news into Qi Jiyuan's ear, who looks completely caught off guard. Long Tao immediately gets suspicious, demanding to know what kind of scheme Qi Jiyuan is pulling now. Qi Jiyuan just tells him the competition is over for now, leaving Long Tao totally confused. Turns out a VIP has pulled rank, ordering them to hand over this abyss immediately. Long Tao absolutely loses his mind, ready to throw hands with whatever higher-up just ruined his day. Over on the sidelines, Sauda's crew just looks on, wondering if this whole thing was a waste of time. This pink-haired girl is not having it, demanding to know who this mysterious VIP is. This official explains this is not just one VIP, but an international group that cut a deal with their leaders. So the pink-haired girl realizes the abyss is just a political bargaining chip now. Great, just great. Sauda's crew just stands there in silence, their entire competition completely derailed by bureaucracy. This official then gives Sauda a half-hearted apology and a warning not to interfere, admitting he cannot stop him. With the match cancelled, Long Tao's team just walks away, leaving our guys standing there. Sauda, however, is already thinking, a little smirk suggesting he is not about to let this go. Later that night, the scene shifts back to the 6th District Inspection Team headquarters. This whole crew is gathered for a debrief, with Chang Ting stating the obvious: this is gonna be tough. But Sauda is totally unfazed, confidently declaring they are absolutely going to secure that abyss. Just then, a sudden knock at the door interrupts their little war council. Chang Ting opens it and is completely surprised by who is standing on the other side. A woman with purple hair and a crisp white uniform gives them a very intense stare. She announces she is joining their team for the next raid, on the condition that all spirit-type stones are hers. Confused, Chang Ting points her out, asking why someone from the rival First District is here. This pink-haired girl smirks, telling the newcomer she is mistaken. They are not interested in the 6th District's abyss. Sauda plays along, confirming they are following orders and will not be participating in the official competition. Their visitor is not buying it for a second, revealing she is not actually from the 1st District either. This little bombshell leaves Sauda and his teammates completely stunned and confused. She reminds them that the intel literally said she was just a temporary hire for the other team. Turns out both she and Xiao Ying are just mercenaries temporarily employed by Long Tao, and now they are available. This mercenary explains her gig went sour. With the government predicting abysses, freelancers are getting squeezed out. She then lays out their team's weaknesses, pointing out they desperately need a healer and a suppressor like her. With a confident smile, she extends her hand, formally asking if they will accept her offer to cooperate. Sauda is deep in thought, knowing the proposal is good but still worried this could be an elaborate trap. As a show of good faith, she offers him a data chip, saying it is all the information she has gathered. She drops the chip right into his hand, promising to be nearby when the abyss finally opens. Leaving with Xiao Ying, she tells him to make a reasonable decision, which sounds a lot like a threat. As the two walk away, Xiao Ying asks if she really thinks Sauda's crew will agree to the deal. This purple-haired merc just smirks, completely certain they will make the right choice. Later that night, a military commander briefs his troops outside a secure facility, telling them to stay sharp. His orders are simple and strict. Absolutely no one gets past the perimeter, not even a fly. A whole squad of soldiers snaps to attention, shouting a unified yes sir. But a close-up reveals it is Sauda and his team in disguise already inside the operation. Well, that was easy. He internally confirms they took the deal, and it is already looking like a very worthwhile partnership. This intel she gave them is a goldmine, containing data on every single ability user present. It even came with a full military deployment map showing every patrol route and guard post. Thanks to that intel, they were able to sneak right past the guards during a shift change. Inside a warehouse, some VIP points to a glowing red symbol, asking if that is where the monsters will appear. His smarmy assistant just tells the young master to sit back and enjoy the show. This plan is to have other ability users kill the monsters, allowing the young master to absorb their powers. This spoiled young master orders his guy to only weaken the monsters so he can steal the glory. For daring to show concern, the subordinate gets a brutal backhand and a lecture on being the family dog. Nursing his bruised cheek, the poor guy just has to take it and agree. What a great boss. With his authority re-established, the little tyrant smugly declares it is time to wait for the show. Right on schedule, the abyss portal erupts in a massive pillar of red energy. Showtime. Our little VIP is absolutely starstruck, his face screaming, "Ooh, shiny," at the light show. From the swirling chaos, the first shadowy monsters begin to emerge looking nasty, and it is not just a few, a whole horde of demonic creatures pours out of the gate. His subordinate is freaking out, realizing there are *6 abyss seeds, which is apparently very bad news. A team of hired guns gets into formation, their leader yelling at them to stick to the plan. 3 of the fighters immediately drop down, activating some kind of containment magic circles. This creates a massive hexagonal energy field, trapping the monsters inside a temporary cage. Their leader then gives the signal, calling for the first wave of attacks to begin. And the whole team unleashes a coordinated barrage of fire, wind, and energy blasts. One of the bigger monsters takes the full force of the assault right to the face in a massive explosion. Meanwhile, another fighter in a long coat squares off against a hulking beast crackling with energy. Watching from the sidelines, the young master is loving it, clapping like a seal and yelling for more destruction. This field commander immediately calls for the second wave as a guy with rubber arm powers steps up. His arms extend like crazy, each hand gripping some kind of high-tech canister. These canisters start glowing with pink magical energy, looking like they are about to unleash something big. These canisters fire off a volley of energized projectiles, a full-on bullet storm, and these things just pepper the monster horde, lighting them up with dozens of small explosions. Unimpressed, the field commander just yells for the third wave to begin their all-out assault. So the team unleashes another barrage of fire and lightning, a real light show of destruction. One of the mercs launches a concentrated blast of golden energy right at the enemy lines, and the whole area erupts in smoke and fire as the attack lands dead center. Outside, Sauda's crew just watches the building light up like a private firework display. His pink-haired teammate notes how crazy it is in there, asking if it is time to move in. But Sauda calmly tells her to hold on, knowing these monsters are tougher than they look. And he is right. When the smoke clears, the mercs are exhausted and the monsters are totally fine. This commander is in total disbelief, his all-out assault apparently doing jack squat. From the smoke, a massive armored beast emerges, completely unfazed by their best shots. This sends the young master into a full-blown tantrum, screaming at his useless trash to hurry up. Before they can react, the monster lets out a deafening roar that shakes the whole room, a sonic blast that sends all the fighters, including Xiao Ying, reeling in agony. Even the young master is on the floor crying about his ears. Guess he is not absorbing that asterisk power. It is so intense that blood actually starts pouring from his ears, which is never a good sign. All around the room, the hired guns are completely incapacitated by the sound wave. This commander is losing his mind, screaming for a healer and for someone to get things under control, prompting a green-haired woman to rush forward, trying to stabilize the team with her powers. This sonic roar sends several fighters to their knees, completely disoriented by the blast. Before they can even get up, a massive monster lunges forward, its jaws wide open for a snack. Meanwhile, our favorite young master is on the floor, absolutely paralyzed with fear. He is literally crying his eyes out as the reality of the situation finally crashes down on him, and it looks like he is so terrified he wet himself, screaming that he does not want the powers anymore. One of the mercs sees a shadowy claw descending and makes the very smart call to retreat. But it is way too late. The purple-haired merc gets blasted by a monster's energy beam. She is sent flying across the room, completely helpless against the raw power of the attack. Elsewhere, another fighter with a pixelated mask gets absolutely shredded by a clawed beast. This whole warehouse has just evolved into chaos, with monsters tearing through the hired help. Just as the young master is having his full-blown meltdown, a shadowy hand grabs him by the face. He is screaming for his life, begging the monster to get away, so much for all that bravado. His poor assistant is already down for the count, and the rest of the mercs look totally exhausted. In a stunning display of courage, the young master offers up his own subordinate as a sacrifice. He then starts pointing out the other mercs, trying to sell out his entire team to save his own skin, and the monsters, being surprisingly good listeners, immediately turn their attention to the new targets. Outside, everything has gone eerily quiet, prompting the pink-haired girl to wonder if the fight is over. Sauda, however, has a much darker theory. He thinks the asterisk people have been dealt with, not the monsters. This actual military commander is also getting suspicious, noting the complete lack of movement inside. Deciding he has waited long enough, the commander orders his squad to move in and investigate the silence. This commander's squad finally moves in, marching in tight formation to investigate the silence. His eyes go wide in shock, seeing the absolute carnage waiting for them inside. This entire squad just freezes in place, absolutely horrified by the scene greeting them, and it is a total bloodbath with the bodies of the mercs scattered across the floor. One lone survivor is having a complete mental breakdown, helpfully narrating that everyone is dead, thanks buddy. And the commander is just screaming, demanding to know where the actual monsters are. Suddenly, one of Sauda's teammates screams for Mewq to put up an ice wall, and a massive barrier of jagged ice erupts from the ground, encircling the entire group. A shadowy monster immediately smashes against the barrier, trying to claw its way through, so the commander screams at his men to run while the ice wall still holds. Not needing to be told twice, the soldiers book it out of there in a total panic, which leaves Sauda's crew inside the ice dome, now completely surrounded by the real threat. Sauda calmly notes that the mercs were wiped out without leaving a single scratch on these things. This pink-haired girl, ever the diplomat, just calls the dead mercs a useless bunch. Meanwhile, the purple-haired merc promises to protect a worried Xiao Ying who is clearly on edge, and Chang Ting looks to the team, asking the big question, do they fight or retreat? Another teammate immediately argues they cannot give up the abyss seeds after all this. So Sauda just gives a confident smirk, drawing his blade and confirming they are not going anywhere. This whole team flares with power, and Sauda gives the simple order, annihilate all of them. But just as the fight's about to pop off, two new figures step into view, and one has very questionable socks. A whole new crew steps onto the scene, looking down on the chaos like they are watching a movie. One of them smirks at the blonde girl, confirming her prediction that things would go south for the first team. He then roasts the stupid fat guy, saying only an idiot would charge in and get himself killed like that. When asked if they can wipe out the other side, the girl just gives a casual no problem, confidence is high. Their leader decides to let the current fighters soften up the monsters for them first, a truly heroic strategy. With a nasty grin, he declares they will just swoop in and take over the battlefield when everyone's tired. Meanwhile, back in the actual fight, Mewq charges up a massive blast of swirling blue energy, unleashing a powerful vortex right into the monster horde. At the same time, the green-haired woman throws out her own attack, a wave of crackling green power, which seems to ensnare several of the beasts in a debilitating energy field. Chang Ting joins the fun, unloading a full clip of energy blast from his gun, but one of the Cyclops monsters just tanks the hits, surrounded by a field of sharp spikes. Sauda immediately barks an order at Mewq to focus fire on the most dangerous one first, prompting the pink-haired teammate to whip out a swirling vortex of pure fire, and she blasts a monster right in the face, making it roar in agony. Not one to sit back, Sauda himself dashes into the fray at blinding speed, bringing his sword down in a glitchy, pixelated slash that tears into a monster's hide. This just ticks off a much bigger, tusked beast which lets out an enraged roar. These monsters are now getting absolutely hammered, caught between fire from above and ice from below. But a huge armored behemoth emerges from the chaos, looking like the real final boss of this party. Sauda's team stands their ground as the monsters regroup in the smoke, ready for round 2. He calmly observes that the creatures are surprisingly smart, not just charging in blindly anymore. Turning to his squad, Sauda gives the simple, grim order to protect themselves at all costs. Suddenly, a new fighter with glowing purple eyes begins conjuring some seriously intense green magic. This guy unleashes a massive, swirling vortex of magic circles, preparing a huge containment spell. One of the other soldiers just stares, completely stunned by the sheer scale of the power on display. A female teammate is caught within the spell's effect, surrounded by blades of pure green energy. This spell seems to be working, trapping one of the big armored monsters in its powerful vortex. All that energy then converges into a massive green pyramid, sealing the beast inside, which promptly explodes in a huge blast, a pretty solid-looking finishing move. Watching from the sidelines, the Vulture team's leader is actually impressed by the light show. His blonde companion asks if it is finally their turn to jump in and clean up, but the leader just smirks, telling her to wait a little longer, let the pawns tire themselves out first. Back on the ground, a purple-haired soldier is panting, clearly exhausted from unleashing a massive attack. Her teammates look on, realizing this woman is definitely not someone you want to provoke. Another soldier looks at the now quiet battlefield, hopefully asking if it is finally over. But as the smoke clears, the monsters are still standing, looking more annoyed than anything else. Seeing this, the military commander loses his cool and just screams for a full-on assault. One of the beasts gets hammered by a series of explosions, but it is hard to tell if it is doing any real damage. A fighter in black leaps into the air, unleashing a powerful slash of blue energy at the monster. A blue-haired soldier cuts down the last of the small fry with a clean sweep of his blade. His blonde teammate pumps his fist, prematurely celebrating their victory, "Oh, you sweet summer child." But the first soldier notices the monster corpses are twitching, glowing with a sinister purple energy. Another squadmate starts freaking out, screaming for everyone to keep attacking without stopping. This whole team's victory mood vanishes in an instant, replaced by pure shock and confusion. All the dead monster bits start to pull together, reforming into a writhing mass of shadowy tentacles. This soldier just stares, completely speechless as this new, much worse creature takes shape before him. This thing just keeps growing, becoming a towering hydra of snarling, shadowy heads. It lets out a collective roar from its many mouths, which is just delightful for everyone's eardrums. One of the soldiers tries a heroic punch, which gets completely swallowed by the monster's body. Bad move. He is immediately swatted away like a fly, sent tumbling through the air by a massive tentacle. Seeing this, Chang Ting steps up and unloads both barrels of his energy shotgun. This blasts pepper the creature's body, lighting it up with a series of direct hits, and the monster's reaction is basically a giant question mark, completely unfazed by the attack. It answers with another one of those deafening sonic roars, blasting the entire squad with a shockwave. This red-haired soldier clutches her head in agony as the sound tears through the room. Just as a tentacle lunges for the pink-haired girl, she looks up in absolute terror. She quickly throws her hands up, summoning a massive wall of ice to protect herself. This monster's attack smashes right into the barrier, cracking the ice on impact. Behind the wall, the team braces themselves, now trapped with this new, upgraded nightmare. A soldier braces herself as the Hydra Beast lets out a terrifying roar, and Mewtwo slides forward, throwing up another emergency ice wall to block the attack. This monster's attack slams into the barrier with explosive force, but its shadowy tentacles just keep coming, lashing out with incredible speed. This ice wall shatters into a million pieces, completely overwhelmed by the assault. Mewtwo screams that she cannot hold on much longer, her energy clearly fading fast. Just then, the purple-eyed soldier steps up, ready to unleash her own green energy attack. Her magic swirls around the beast, but a teammate wonders if they should just retreat instead. Asked if she can launch another big attack, Mewtwo admits she is almost completely tapped out, so the purple-eyed woman volunteers for one last shot, telling them to use it to escape. She gathers her remaining power, preparing to unleash a final, desperate blast of green light. But the monster is not waiting around, roaring as it winds up for a massive swing. A huge tentacle comes crashing down as someone screams for the team to dodge. This attack slams into the ground, sending at least one soldier flying from the impact. Now the creature is just a whirlwind of tentacles whipping across the battlefield. Its limbs are just swatting soldiers away like they are nothing, a total one-sided beatdown. All of its horrible mouths are just grinning, clearly enjoying the absolute chaos it is causing. This team is completely broken, with one soldier blaming herself for being useless as another gives up hope. One of the monster's massive legs stomps down and a soldier on the ground knows they're doomed, and a fanged mouth opens wide, ready to deliver the final, crushing blow. This poor soldier wonders why he is first on the chopping block as a giant fist descends. But a flash of blue energy intercepts the blow, saving him at the last possible second, and the rescuer stands tall, telling his terrified squadmate to stay back because he has got this. His teammates are not so sure, with the pink-haired soldier screaming for Chang Ting to call a retreat, but our new hero is not backing down, confidently stating he can take the monster down himself. This Hydra Beast roars in defiance, clearly not a fan of his newfound confidence. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is actually impressed, with one of them noting the kid is pretty tough. Their leader asks his blonde companion Jai for her assessment of the situation, and he decides they cannot wait any longer, worried this guy might actually win and snag the prize. Down below, the fight is on, with our hero facing down a massive bladed tentacle. He unleashes a whirlwind of blue slashes, carving through the monster's limbs with style. His plan is simple: the beast is stronger but slower, so he will just wear it down. Zipping around the battlefield, he dodges the onslaught looking for the perfect opening, and he finds it, landing a clean energy slash right across one of the Hydra's faces. This just enrages the beast, which blasts him with a point-blank sonic roar of its own. He gets caught in the shockwave, gritting his teeth as the force slams into him. Seeing its chance, the monster brings a massive scythe-like limb crashing down on him. He knows he is too slow to dodge, realizing he will have to tank the hit directly. Bracing for the inevitable, he looks up as the attack is about to connect. But Chang Ting pops up out of nowhere, shotgun aimed, reminding everyone he is still in the fight. But it is Mew Q who jumps in, screaming for Chang Ting to move as she unleashes a massive energy blast. This blue vortex slams directly into the Hydra beast, pushing it back with raw power. Sauda immediately follows up, plunging his own flaming sword right into the monster's face, a perfect combo. This combined attack completely obliterates the creature, which dissolves into a fiery mess on the floor. Our boy finally catches his breath, clearly drained after that absolutely insane fight. As he stands over the remains, the Vulture squad finally makes their grand, perfectly timed entrance. After wiping out hordes of monsters in a final boss, victory feels pretty well earned. And the rewards are finally here, a shower of colorful abyss stones dropping from the defeated beast. This whole team erupts in cheers, absolutely thrilled to have survived and won the jackpot. Sauda even cracks a smile, hoping for a body-strengthening stone in the loot pile. His face hardens as he addresses the newcomers, telling his exhausted team to let them handle the rest. And there they are, the Foreseer Mercenary group stepping out like they own the place. Mewtwo immediately recognizes their leader, Majai, and she does not look happy about it. Majai gives a smug little wave, greeting her like they are old pals at a garden party. Turns out they have a history, their grandfathers were friends, which explains nothing and everything. Sauda puts it all together, realizing these vultures were just waiting to swoop in and steal their prize. One of his teammates is ready to throw down, refusing to hand over the stones they bled for. Majai plays the nice guy, saying the place was theirs anyway, but he will respect their choice to die fighting. His crew backs him up, pointing out the obvious: Sauda's team is exhausted and this would be a slaughter. With a heavy sigh, Sauda accepts the challenge, calling out to Chang Ting to get ready for another round. Chang Ting is completely baffled as Sauda just stares him down, looking dead serious. And in a wild move, Sauda offers up all the abyss stones, telling him to just take them, followed by a firm, encouraging pat on the butt because that is what bros do in a crisis apparently. This rest of the squad just watches this exchange, their brains collectively short-circuiting. Meanwhile, Majai's crew is getting antsy, with his spiky-haired buddy looking ready to rumble. And that spiky-haired guy makes his move, stepping forward with a flash of speed to intercept. He's got that classic "I am about to ruin your day" look, absolutely locked and loaded, but Majai grabs him, telling his hot-headed teammate Kai to stand down for a second. Suddenly, a completely new player drops in, summoning a massive golden-armored beast out of thin air. This guy slams his fist into the ground, unleashing a shockwave of pure golden energy. Behind it all is another new face, a long-haired dude with glowing purple eyes orchestrating the chaos. He fires off a volley of energy blasts, not at Sauda's team but at the vultures, which slam into a protective blue barrier, trapping Majai's squad completely. At the same time, a swirling purple portal opens up right over the abyss stones. Sauda's team gets the signal and makes a break for it, diving right into their escape route. This portal maker gives a smug little wave goodbye, leaving the vultures to their fate. And just like that, the portal snaps shut, sealing the deal on the perfect heist. Trapped in the bubble, Majai turns to his blonde companion Jai, telling her she miscalculated badly. Kai rubs it in, saying it looks like the old master got outplayed by the student. But then we see Kai with Sauda's group, revealing the ultimate double-cross. The pupil really did surpass the master. This double-crossing Kai takes a drag, vowing to one day defeat his respected teacher Chi Jiyuan. Back in the bubble, Jai tells a fuming Majai to calm down and trust their allies. Just then, a brand new purple portal rips open in the middle of the warehouse, and out steps Sauda's team, looking like they have just joined a much cooler, more competent crew. This white-haired leader of this new squad gives them a casual wave and a congrats on your triumph. While his teammate specifically congratulates Mewtwo on her victory, which is not suspicious at all. Mewtwo and the blonde guy immediately start screaming at Chang Ting for keeping them in the dark. But the new leader steps in, explaining he only gave Chang Ting hints, not the whole plan. He puts a friendly arm around a very stressed-out Chang Ting as the rest of the team's brains just melt. A woman on his team then tells their leader Long Tao that he will never outplay the master strategist Chi Jiyuan. And Chang Ting clenches his fist, declaring he is the one who will surpass that legendary planner someday. Long Tao then turns to two other mercenaries, promising to uphold his end of their deal, handing them a massive glowing purple crystal called Scorpion as their reward for helping out. With business handled, he lays out the abyss stones, ready to distribute the real prize. All 6 of the colorful, powerful stones they stole are sitting right there on the table. Long Tao says his team gets first pick, and Chang Ting just coolly agrees without any argument. But instead of choosing just one, Chang Ting's hand sweeps over all 6 of the stones. He snags a single red one, and his entire team absolutely erupts with joy. This move leaves Long Tao completely stunned, stammering in disbelief as Chang Ting just smirks. Chang Ting suggests they talk, revealing the stones were a perfect set for his team. He just outplayed the master player. A stunned Long Tao asks if it is really true, and Chang Ting confirms the whole thing was a setup. His teammates are still catching up, with Q finally realizing the stones are a perfect match for them. Chang Ting gives a triumphant yes, and the whole squad just erupts in a victory cheer. Meanwhile, Long Tao and his partner can only sit there in stunned, soul-crushing silence. Later, the victorious team is chilling in some seriously comfy-looking beanbag chairs for a debrief. Our boy looks pensive, probably replaying the 5D chess match he just won in his head. This guy from Long Tao's crew offers him all 6 stones, but with a catch: 2 free missions for them. With a firm handshake, they seal the deal because business is business even after a heist. Playing the generous leader, Chang Ting dishes out 4 of the stones to his very happy teammates. This purple-eyed soldier takes hers with a simple thank you as he tells them to get absorbing. Holding his own red stone, Chang Ting wonders how much stronger 2 physical boosts will make him, and he clenches his fist, absolutely determined to keep leveling up no matter what. All around him, his teammates are powering up, each glowing with their own unique energy. It is revealed he can absorb any type, but strength stones give him the biggest boost, so he just casually pops 2 of them in his mouth, ready for the transformation. A massive demonic red aura immediately explodes from his body, which is not a normal power-up. He is suddenly in agony, wondering what the hell is happening as his body contorts. This energy goes completely wild, lashing out as he screams in pure, unadulterated pain. Q's eyes snap open, instantly sensing the dangerous surge of power from across the room, and she immediately jumps in, using her own energy to try and dissipate his out-of-control aura. Sauda watches the light show, noting that Chang Ting is about to get another ridiculous power-up. This energy finally settles, and our boy takes a breath, looking like he just leveled up hard. His teammate Sauda immediately asks how he is feeling, probably wondering if he is about to explode. Chang Ting clenches a fist, boasting he could now one-punch that monster from before. Talk about confidence. And the stat sheet confirms it, showing a 10-fold boost to strength and durability plus double reflexes. Sauda then brings up a valid point, asking why they did not get any cool weapon drops, just stones. From his comfy throne, Chang Ting explains that stones are guaranteed, but gear is all up to the RNG gods. As Sauda mopes about his weapon, Chang Ting drops a bombshell. The beginner protection period is over. This whole squad just stares, collectively asking what the hell a beginner protection period even is. Chang Ting just gives them a cryptic smirk, promising they will find out very, very soon. Suddenly, the team is standing at a doorway looking out at a bright, peaceful world for now. With glowing eyes, Chang Ting announces that it is coming, and his tone is not reassuring. Right on cue, a massive, swirling vortex of energy rips open in the sky above the city. A horrifying purple monster emerges, giving a casual "we meet again" to all the players on Earth. With a terrifying grin, it announces that after 6 invasions, the tutorial mode is officially over. Elsewhere, Long Tao's crew watches the broadcast, with one guy musing that someone is being played with. Long Tao himself seems pretty entertained, curious to see what chaos the end of the protection period will bring. Meanwhile, Ma Jai is just chilling in a pool, casually telling Jai the training wheels are off. He even stretches victoriously, absolutely thrilled about the coming collapse and reconstruction of order. What a psycho. This monster then lays out the new rules: no more energy sources, and monsters will now spawn everywhere. With a cheerful "have fun," the monster vanishes, leaving humanity to deal with its apocalyptic patch notes. Sauda is absolutely losing it, trying to process the 3 new game-breaking rules just dropped on them. This whole team is reeling, questioning the sealed energy, increased monster spawns, and this mysterious abyss key. Chang Ting calmly explains Rule 1, all power on Earth is gone, electricity, gas, the works. As Sauda panics about returning to the Stone Age, Chang Ting promises a new energy source is coming. This new system, he explains, involves abyss seeps dropping energy crystals, a far more efficient power source. Q astutely points out this feels less like an invasion and more like a forced evolution for the entire planet. Our boy just gives a cryptic look, musing on the word evolving like he knows exactly what is up. This redhead asks about the abyss key, but Chang Ting's first priority is telling her to stop calling him little brother. He then reveals the key is their ticket into special, high-stakes dungeons. These keys unlock trial grounds, basically a whole new level of challenge and reward for them to tackle. Chang Ting breaks down the 3 tiers of keys, with extraordinary being the highest risk and reward. Sauda immediately questions if they are even strong enough to handle the top-tier trial grounds. With a classic protagonist smirk, Chang Ting basically says, let us find out, because why not gamble with their lives? Q then asks the million-dollar question, where exactly do these trial grounds appear? Again with the future knowledge, Chang Ting reveals their city gets the first extraordinary one. He immediately tasks Q with finding an abyss key, and she confidently accepts the mission. Just then, a little girl runs in screaming that the power's out, as the New World Order kicks in. Unfazed, Chang Ting just pats her on the head, calmly reassuring her it is only temporary. Meanwhile, another group prepares for the coming chaos, realizing the old world's energy is officially dead. A government-looking guy with white hair lays out the new plan: find the keys and monitor the trial grounds. Elsewhere, some psycho with an eye patch is absolutely thrilled, telling his team it is time to cause some havoc. Meanwhile, a very prim and proper blonde girl just sips her tea, completely unfazed by the end of the world. And the chaos begins, with a giant shadowy monster appearing over the city as explosions rock the streets. Down on the ground, a terrified woman watches people flee for their lives from the unfolding disaster. She trips and falls, and a demonic-looking red fox monster dives right at her. Not a great start to the day. With tears streaming down her face, she screams for help, completely paralyzed by fear. But just as it is about to strike, a blast of energy slams into the monster's head out of nowhere. This impact sends the beast flying, giving our damsel in distress a serious case of whiplash. Turns out the shot came from a very fancy-looking flintlock pistol, which just took care of business. A mysterious hero in a trench coat stands over her, looking like he just walked off a movie set. And it is Sauda, of course, flashing a hero's smile and telling her everything's okay now. Instead of thanks, he asks for some gratitude, and she just runs off screaming, so much for a heroic rescue. Sauda's a little bummed, complaining to Chang Ting that the monster did not even drop an abyss key. Chang Ting calls him a pessimist, but Sauda points out this is their third kill with zero loot to show for it. Just then, Chang Ting gets a call, and the timing feels a little too perfect. His face absolutely lights up as he announces some great news to his moping teammate. He reveals Mewkyu's team already snagged a key, and Sauda is instantly hyped, asking if it is go time. With his eyes glowing, Chang Ting points forward, declaring it is time to hit the trial grounds. Their destination is a high school athletic field, where a glowing anomaly marks the entrance to their next big challenge. Mewkyu confirms the trial ground is right here at the school because of course Chang Ting knew, and sure enough there is a glowing circle on the field with their key just waiting for them. She holds up the fancy key, asking the boss if it is time to kick things off. Her hand reaches down to place the key, officially starting their high-risk, high-reward field trip. A massive pillar of red light immediately erupts, signaling the dungeon is open for business. In its place, a terrifyingly huge, demonic-looking gate materializes before the team. Chang Ting reaches out, his hand glowing as he interfaces with the gate's ominous energy, and the system confirms it. They have activated an extraordinary level trial, the hardest one there is. This giant doors creak open, revealing a path into whatever fresh hell awaits them. Swirling red and black energy pours out of the now open gate, looking super inviting. Sauda, being the voice of reason for once, asks if they are actually strong enough for this. Our boy hits them with the classic believe in our strength speech, full protagonist mode activated. They are instantly teleported into a massive, fiery arena under a burning sky. Sauda is immediately impressed, shouting that they are in a freaking Colosseum tourist mode on. A swirling vortex of energy appears in the center of the arena, summoning their first opponent. From the vortex, a hulking shadow emerges, clutching some kind of glowing red weapon, and their first boss is a giant, armored minotaur with a massive axe who gives a welcoming roar. With eyes crackling with lightning, Chang Ting enters combat mode, locking onto his target. Surrounded by his own chaotic aura, he identifies their new friend as the Minotaur. This Minotaur glares back with glowing red eyes, clearly not here to make friends. Mewkyu opens the fight with a flashy attack, but the Minotaur just blocks it with its glowing axe. Her assault is completely deflected, and Chang Ting just watches from the sidelines, taking notes. This giant beast stands there looking all tough after effortlessly shutting down their first move. So Chang Ting tells everyone to hang back, deciding to test this monster's strength himself. Crackling with blue lightning, he zips across the arena to meet the challenge head-on. Their first clash creates a massive shockwave, a classic shonen power-level check, but Chang Ting is already unimpressed, noting the monster's power is surprisingly weak. This Minotaur looks absolutely horrified that a human can just stop its axe cold. With the beast on its knees, he concludes its physical abilities are also garbage, which is just embarrassing for it. In a rage, the Minotaur unleashes a desperate spinning attack to try and regain some dignity. Chang Ting just gracefully leaps over the swing, making the whole thing look like a joke. His hands start glowing with a menacing red energy as he prepares a proper counterattack, and he gets ready to unleash a flurry of strikes to put this thing in its place. This monster gets absolutely pummeled by the rapid-fire assault, unable to even react. Now it is just kneeling there, steaming and completely defeated after that brutal beatdown. But then it lets out a mighty moo and erupts in a dark purple aura. It has got a second phase. Chang Ting reveals this was his plan all along, knowing it would transform after taking enough damage. With glowing red eyes, the powered-up Minotaur brings its axe down with everything it has, and our boy just stops the attack with one hand because of course he does. He notes its strength doubled, but it is still no threat, even using its axe as a springboard, total disrespect. Chang Ting calmly observes the Minotaur, noting its speed has dropped so much it is basically a free XP piñata. Deciding this weakling is perfect for practice, he tells the team it is time to work on their coordination. Sauda and the others are instantly hyped, ready to jump in and get their hands dirty. A massive explosion of combined attacks rocks the arena as the team unleashes on their target. And just like that, the Minotaur is down, its body dissolving into smoke as the squad surrounds it. Sauda immediately starts flexing, boasting that he could have totally handled that thing by himself. But the pink-haired girl is having none of it, reminding him he got sent flying with a single punch. He tries to save face, claiming he was just testing his melee skills and has concluded he is a ranged fighter. Meanwhile, another teammate feels useless, worrying his powers do not work on these simple-minded monsters. Chang Ting immediately shuts that down, reassuring him his abilities are a game-changer they desperately need. He explains that future monsters will have human-level intelligence, complete with thoughts and fears. And when they face those enemies, his teammates' powers will be terrifyingly effective. With his confidence restored, the guy clenches his fist, now understanding his role in the team. Chang Ting then steps over the defeated Minotaur, dagger out to put an end to this poor seed. With a final slash, the beast disintegrates into a shower of red and black digital blocks. Suddenly, a giant screen materializes in the arena, catching the whole team by surprise. It congratulates the human squad on their victory and asks if they want to make their name public. Chang Ting gives a hard eye refuse. No time for fame when you are on a secret mission from the future. This board updates, listing them as squad number 1 with a hidden name, but their ranking is not included. Sauda is completely baffled, asking how they can be in first place but not even be on the leaderboard. Chang Ting explains the ranking system: clear dungeons faster and you will get better monthly rewards. Sauda, ever the quick study, is completely baffled by the term settlement rewards. Our boy clarifies their first kill loot is a special bonus, which is why they are not on the main leaderboard yet. With the light bulb finally on, Sauda immediately asks the most important question: so where's our prize? Right on cue, a giant treasure chest slams down from the sky and the whole team goes wild. Sauda immediately starts chanting for guns, while the pink-haired girl chimes in with a desperate plea for armor. This rest of the team joins the wishlist party except for Chang Ting, who just silently judges them all. With a brilliant flash of gold, the chest pops open, ready to reveal their hard-earned loot, and inside sits a very slick, very golden, very futuristic-looking submachine gun. Sauda is ecstatic, especially when the system reveals his new toy has unlimited ammo. This thing also gets stronger the angrier he gets and scales with his physical stats, which is just broken. He is practically drooling over his new weapon, grinning like he just won the Apocalypse lottery. Now dual-wielding, he proudly names himself the Dual Gun Ranger, and Chang Ting just lets him have this moment. Meanwhile, the girls are getting antsy, pointing out they are still running around completely unequipped. Chang Ting assures them that finding more arenas is easy since their locations are fixed, wink wink, future knowledge. This pink-haired girl rallies the squad, declaring it is time to go on an epic loot hunt for more first kills. But a system alert interrupts, warning of an imbalance factor as the arena's level starts to spike. Sauda demands to know what is happening, and for the first time, Chang Ting admits he has no clue. Our boy has a sudden, dawning horror that maybe, just maybe, he is the one breaking the game's difficulty curve. This system confirms it. The arena level just doubled to 8, and a new countdown begins as things get way harder. Chang Ting is completely floored as the arena's difficulty instantly jumps 2 whole levels. In the center of the Colosseum, a chaotic vortex of dark energy starts to coalesce. With his hair practically standing on end, he screams a warning that their next opponent is on its way. A massive demonic claw bursts from the ground, signaling the arrival of something truly nasty. 2 glowing red eyes stare out from the shadows, promising a very, very bad time for everyone, and out comes a 3-headed demonic hellhound, letting out a roar that shakes the entire arena. This pink-haired girl immediately recognizes the legendary beast, and she does not look thrilled about it. Wreathed in flames, the Cerberus lunges forward to turn the whole squad into charcoal. But a massive wall of ice erupts from the ground, meeting the fire head-on. It is the pink-haired girl, gritting her teeth as she holds back the inferno with everything she has got. Her ice shield barely manages to contain the blast in a spectacular clash of elements. Still, the shockwave is so powerful it sends the entire team flying through the air. This 3-headed beast just snarls, completely unimpressed by their little magic trick. After everyone lands, Chang Ting declares the warm-up is over and the real fight is about to begin. He officially identifies their target as the Hellhound Cerberus, which is now ready for round 2. Suddenly, we cut to deep space where 3 bizarre cosmic entities are watching the show. A spiky purple one with a Cheshire cat grin finds the whole situation very interesting. But his Egyptian-looking buddy is bored, calling the humans bugs and complaining about the game. This spiky one immediately accuses him, asking if he is the one who messed with the difficulty. And the Egyptian god just plays dumb, acting like he has no idea what is going on, total liar. This blue flamehead admits he got bored and decided to entertain himself by buffing the humans. His spiky purple friend immediately gets in his face, asking if he has completely lost his mind. This purple one then threatens to kill him if he ever messes with his paradise again. But the blue guy just scoffs, daring him to even try, totally unbothered by the death threat. Their Egyptian-looking buddy breaks up the staring contest, whining that timeline resets are exhausting. He suggests that since the game's already broken, they should all just join in to make it more fun. This other 2 cosmic beings turn to him, wondering what kind of fresh chaos he is about to propose. With a grin, the Egyptian god decides to raise the stakes by adding a new variable to the game. He complains that being stuck with just them for eons has gotten super lonely. So he proposes a contest. They each pick a human and give them a trial to become a god. This winner of this little wager gets absolute authority for the next 10 eons, no big deal or anything. He then formally asks the other 2 if they are in on this universe-altering bet. This blue flamehead is intrigued but openly doubts any bug could actually reach their level. Still, he accepts the proposal, pointing down to Earth to choose his champion. After a moment of dramatic silence, the spiky purple one considers the insane offer, and he agrees too, curious to see how far these little mortals can actually go. Back in the arena, the Cerberus roars, ready to tear into the squad. But suddenly, a massive pillar of purple energy erupts from absolutely nowhere. It swirls violently, forming some kind of powerful, unknown attack or barrier. And the entire team, even Chang Ting, is completely shocked by this sudden intervention. That purple pillar was definitely a buff, as the Cerberus is now glowing with a sickly green, corrupted aura. One of its heads snarls, crackling with this new power and looking way more pissed off than before. This fully transformed beast, now a menacing black and red, lets out a massive roar to show off its upgrade. For the second time tonight, Chang Ting is completely blindsided, realizing the monster is still asterisk powering up. A system-wide alert confirms the god's meddling, announcing the game's rules have been officially altered for everyone. This spiky purple god explains the new deal. Difficulty will now scale exponentially, but so will the rewards. This update is not optional either, as the new rules are force-fed directly into everyone's minds across the globe. We see glimpses of other powerful-looking players around the world, all getting this terrifying game update. This blue flamehead god issues a challenge to all of humanity. Struggle, survive, and entertain him, you bugs. With the entire planet now wrapped in this strange energy, the system confirms the new, deadlier rules are locked in.